Oh, we're living on a prayer because we're halfway there. Hey everyone, this is Micoy. Welcome back to another episode of the BLT podcast. I am joined by,
PokeArt 2004, as always.
and today's special guest is a little bit more lemony.
Hello everyone, I am Sublime and I am a member of the BLT team Shanishore Snorlaxes.
Welcome to Blime to the podcast. All right,
Or as many Tours regs call, Tanish.
Tanish, you mean?
Yeah, you gotta say it right, Garrett. All right, last
That's not how
time
you pronounce
we covered week 3 and predicted week 4. Today we're going to recap week 4 and predict week 5. So this week has had a ton of good games. At least there's a good percentage of good games to bad, but it's just coming from really unexpected players who have been underwhelming throughout the tour, to say the least. But they're coming back. They're coming back strong, and you know what? Some players are improving their hardest. Some players are trying to get their stellar records into a higher degree, while some are trying to find their footing. And this is the perfect week to do it. So let's get started, shall we?
Yep.
Yes.
First off, in SVOU, we got Michael. Oh wait, first off, we got the Flame Slinger Skeledirges beating the Dressrosa Dracovishes.
To no one's surprise.
First up in
Yeah.
SVOU, we got Michael Derbest versus Clean.
Poor Clean.
Taking a look at this game, we got interesting sets from Clean, but Michael's is the more traditional, like pre-home team. While Clean actually brought some oddball like Pokemon that you never usually expect to see in OU, like an Iron Jugulus, for example. So this game, it started off pretty like the same old OU that we have seen for 7 months now. Um, we got Clean bringing a special. Well, I say special because he brought Earth Power Iron Treads, and it did kind of significant damage, outspeeding Great Tusk for the 2-hit KO.
I think it's even more notable that he brought in Iron Treads in OU.
It's pretty usable. Not as much as Great
Yeah,
Tusk,
but no one uses it.
not as much as Great Tusk, but I still think Iron Treads is like a good safety deposit utility mon in OU at least. Um, Ting Lu surviving enough icicle spears long enough to do the whirlwind on Baxcalibur, which was a pretty good turn. I mean, uh, here's the Tinglu. Baxcalibur comes in, hits the icicle spears, and it just survives on low HP enough to whirlwind the freak out of Baxcalibur. So towards the end, Clean seemed to have the endgame one. It really did. Until a combination of Iron Jugulus not being able to come in after low health, and the fact that Iron Moth wasn't able to kill Dragonite, and Goldango was healthy enough to survive at least a hit in order to win.
The the choice band tire normally speed was really good in this matchup.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but the thing is, this was the game where Clean was this the game where no, am I thinking of last week where he clicked extreme speed too many times?
that was last week. This one,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, that was last week. This
I
was
think
this was the week where. Go ahead.
that game was Lax versus I think Lax versus Sylveon.
Right,
Guys,
right, right. So yeah, Michael finally earning a victory. It's been a while. It's very overdue, but Michael finally got a win.
Was this his first win? Ain't no way.
Yeah, I know,
Second,
right?
second.
Ain't no way this is his first win. Was it really?
Yeah, this is his second.
Oh, is this a second win?
He won last week. He won last week.
So who?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, surely he didn't. Like, surely.
So yeah, apologies. This was a second win, but you know what? This is the first convincing win of Michael Derbest. So there's that.
Ooh.
All right. So next up we got SVOU. We got My Java versus Sword Strike. Now this is another very convincing win for the Dirges, and again, the Dirges having that strong OU core really does help you. Really does get you to places. So, my Java, employing a pretty unique Katrine set. Well, I say unique, it's because it has Nuzzle.
No, it's. Oh, yeah. Actually, that is a little unique. Usually, the stored power set doesn't carry Nuzzle, to my knowledge,
No, I usually
or
do.
does it?
Usually it's like Calm Mind, Stored Power, Draining Kiss, Mystical Fire. Not Stored Power.
Oh, Mystical Fire's the last move. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then why is it Nuzzle here?
Why is
That's
it
interesting.
Why is it Nuzzle? I have no idea. It's probably to catch like something like Volcarona or Dragapult or whoever is lucky enough to get a free decent switch in. So that was unique. Also, yeah, killing Garganackle after setup, that's expected, but it's still finally something against Garganackle.
Yep.
This one's also like Great Tusk surviving at one from Sword Strike's own Great Tusk. Really getting my Java the edge here in this game. I noticed because he wasn't really. Even though the eject pack my Java brought eject pack, um, Great Tusk, it was still very effective enough to even still a kill against Sword Strikes on Great Tusk.
Eject Pack has been on the rise like crazy, Micoy. Didn't you know?
I didn't know that, but you know what? It does make sense for a Pokemon like Great Tusk, who has close combat and headlong
In
rush
fact,
against moves like
Eject Pack is like on the rise in all tiers. I swear, it's like everywhere.
I mean, it's a good pivot. Finally, people starting to realize that it is a good pivot item. It's long
I wonder
overdue.
if we'll start seeing less usage of it though, with home mons being added, and hopefully we get more U-turners.
We'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. It shouldn't be just Dragapult or whoever's a good U-turn user anymore. It's a good pivot. Terrafire, Dragonite, Okoing, Amoonguss with the Fire Punch was pretty unique. Oh, just overall, this game was a heavy My Java win. Like, there's no question My Java would win after all that.
Yeah, also, Terrifier Dragonite is uncommon. I don't know if I've seen that. We all know the banded extreme speed set, but Terrifier to boost Fire Punch?
It's good.
Not what I would have expected. I guess it's to block out potential Will-O-Wisps as well. I'm guessing
And
it's a. Is it a
also
D-Dance?
air balloon Goldango is I think the main reason of it.
Hmm?
I think air balloon Goldango is the main reason of Terrafire and Fire Punch.
Right, that too.
Oh,
Right, that too.
yeah,
Air balloon
okay.
Goldango,
That
but
makes sense.
yeah,
Although that's a pretty specific counter.
yeah,
I uh, Goldango is a very common Pokemon, so I think that's not too uncommon.
right. But you just never see anything. You normally just see like Terra normal Dragonite more running around than Terra Fire, just because it is a counter to the tried and true Goldango set.
No, it's because Stab Banded Extreme Speed is OP.
It's good, okay? It's good. Anyway, next up we got SV Ubers. We got Corvair versus Ainscrad in Corvair's first match. Unfortunately, this wasn't a very good showing. This one had the Chi-Yu missing an overheat, failing to kill Clodsire at a very crucial time, I would say, because Clodsire just kind of it beats this, it beats this, it beats this, it beats this. Um, not necessarily against Koraidon and Great Tusk, but Clodsire is just a solid Pokemon to bring in Ubers. I've seen that nowadays, compared to more or traditional like non-Clodsire teams in Ubers especially. Um, yeah,
Well, it's a perfect Miraidon roll.
it is, but but again, the Chi-Yu missing the overheat here in turn 9 against the Clodsire, which was very unfortunate as he would have killed it afterwards and really could swing the tide in Corvair's favor. But in the end, even after Terrifier didn't really knock out the Clodsire, I guess it was a roll or just Clodsire is just that specially bulky. Uh
I think Clodsire is just that specially bulky.
it was all the momentum lost for Corvair at that point, as Ainscrad just outplayed her at all costs around that point, and then yeah, this was just an easy win for Ainscrad at this point. So not necessarily the most well played Uber's game, but it's a good win for Ainscrad. Then Corvair needs that push yet again. They did play decently up till that point, up till the Chi-Yu misses. So that's a good note to end on. And after kind of a haxy game. Next up, Just Drew versus Dogsa in UU. Now, this one was a weird game. But it's kind of an interesting watch if you look at a turn by turn basis. First off, though, I do got a
I see an Iron Thorns.
I do got a question though. Why the frick did Just Drew keep in his Slowbro against a Wochian? I get trying to do body press, but A, that's not a Tyranitar, that's an Iron Thorns, and so you're not really gonna necessarily get the switch in, get a good perfect switch in. And two, why even try? Why even try when you could have saved this for later?
I don't know. I guess maybe, I think it's like Drew didn't really want any of his other mons getting crippled. Maybe I don't know.
It's losing one of your one defensive cores is just overall bad. But Drew picked up the pace after that.
It worked out for Drew.
Yeah, Drew did pick up the pace after that. So first off, getting rid of the eject button on Alamamola and dodging the play rough, which was kind of unfortunate for Dugza. And of course, if you guys didn't realize, this was the game where Alamamola played around Gyarados extremely well. Like up until the end where it died, Alamamola was just pressurizing Gyarados, like beating the taunt, beating and taking a waterfalls, even trying to eject it out, and just trying to get Whirlpool and Wish Protect stall in order to try to beat Gyarados that way. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case since Drew managed to get a perfectly good setup, get a perfectly good switch in and sweep. So Gyarados did play that to best of his perfection. Tried to regen, which was good, but unfortunately that wasn't just enough. This one, okay. So PokeArt, you did brought up the Iron Thorns being in
Yep, I remember this now. This was the end game.
this Iron Thorn.
Also, the Gyarados versus the Alomamola, That was interesting. I didn't expect the Gyarados to actually win in that matchup, but it
Me
did.
too. Me too. Uh,
Thanks to Taunt.
yeah, taunt really does help on Gyarados. Gyarados ended up critting Scizor towards turn 27, and now we get to the Iron Thorns, which had loaded dice, and it had Rock Blast and Terra Bug Pin Missile, which beat Tyranitar first of all, and then it missed.
Don't forget D-Dance.
It did have D-Dance, and this you would think that Dugza would have like, okay, this is my win con, this is what I'm winning with. It missed on turn 31, the pin missile against the Cyclizar, proceeding to overheat it.
Which allowed the Cyclizar to get off and overheat.
Overheat that massively crippled Iron Thorns in that situation. And then we got pin missile hitting twice, only twice against Cyclizar in order for it to take some damage, but then gets U-turned and gets killed. Drew ended up winning because of that.
Yep. I mean, I guess Dugza would have needed to hit the pin missile like, well, I don't know what the role was for Screamtail, but he probably would have needed to hit it like, I'm gonna guess at least 4 times.
4 times with a boost, yeah.
So
Unless
I'm not gonna say the miss costed him, because I truthfully don't know if it did. If Pin Missile simply didn't hit enough, then it's possible that would have cost him as well. Basically, he needed a bit of luck on his side once he lost his loaded dice.
Yeah, funny, it was carrying loaded dice. It really was a gamble, and he didn't get the win.
Well, I find that Iron Thorns is good with loaded dice
It
because,
is.
it carries stuff like Rock Blast and Pin Missile, apparently.
Oh well, it uses it here, proving it to be kind of useful to its own advantage. So good for him. Good for him. Next up, SVRU. We get Trugba versus MJ. Now,
Sublime, this is your tier. Talk.
I actually haven't watched this game.
Oh, and then just click on the replay, I guess, and scroll on through.
Yeah, I'm watching this right now.
okay. So as you're watching that Sublime, so first of all, we got So this game was purely an MJ's outclassing. Like there's no two ways about it. This was an MJ outclassing in a nutshell. But Cyclizar with no, not Cyclizar, Clawitzer actually. Clawitzer ended up becoming the biggest threat in this game. His specs just doing massive damage.
Yeah, that Specs Cloudser, it, obviously with its ability and a lot of moves that benefit off of it, is busted sometimes.
It is, and ban it to RUBL if why don't you? Clawitzer is absolutely threatening here.
Micoy, it's in NU right now.
Oh,
It's really good. It's really good. Like when in certain matchup, it's really good. There is no count. There is no switch.
well, it's one of those mods that should be banned
Like
outright in competitive use because of how
You were
strong it
very
can
quiet
feel.
there, Sublime. What'd you say?
Pardon, Sublime. Good.
that in certain matchup, Clovidzer is really busted. Like there
Yeah,
is no switch to Clovidzer.
Yeah, that's
unless
very true. True in
un,
NU as well. Except
unless
there's
you're like
Chansey in NU,
especially
that's
bulky steel
illegal.
type. Then again, you have Orsphere. Well, you're just a threat. You're just a threat, Clawitzer. Um, yeah,
Unless
this particular
you're
game.
running or something like this.
Mm, so this game saw the MJ outclassing Chagba Chagba, Revavroom surviving, Crocodiles +1 crunch, Altaria burning Copperajah near the end. This was just MJ just showing off, like, he's not washed. He's absolutely goated.
And we didn't even get to see his Bronzong, but I'm gonna guess it's Demon Bronzong, because who doesn't love to run Demon Bronzong?
Not that again. Well, a lot of people. A lot of people just don't see the natural nature of that Demon Bronzong. Okay. Next up, we got Toki versus Team Charm. This was the first game that happened in this match. I think this got played like what, 15 minutes after the thread is up.
Wait, that soon? Oh my god.
Yeah, this played real early. First off, Toki actually started off the stronger of the two, using Cacturne pretty effectively to use Encore to against the coiling the Dunsparce, and also putting out spikes for hazard damage so he could get that hazard control in. It was just a good natural safe play for Toki, especially against Team Charm, who really doesn't have any hazard removal, which is a shame. Um, yeah, there was a pretty safe turns there. Team Charm absolutely stealing the heavy duty boots away from Scyther was a effective strat in the early going, at least for Charm. When you're thinking, oh, he's gonna steal away the heavy duty boots to try and get Scyther to not come in again. Yeah, that's great. Until it revealed it had Terra Ground, which denied Rotom's Volt Switch and stole its scarf. Which was in fact, which kind of was a jabate and you miss kind of strat, but hey, Toki absolutely played that strat to perfection. Question though, why would Toki go when the Bruxish came in against the Toxicroak? Why would Toki just go straight up for Wave Crash when Toxicroak was just sitting there healing itself and taking the hits? I guess it's to predict the switch in against Sandaconda, but
Let me switch to let me go to that turn and see.
turn 25.
Oh, I guess he was hoping for a switch out, or
I was gonna say, like, was he hoping to catch Sandaconda or something? Because you never do that with
Zoroark.
Zoroark too, but it was gonna switch into
Yeah.
Toxicroak, but and then Sandaconda immediately. It's just nature for someone to switch out, switch in, maybe Psychic Fang. Well, not Psychic Fangs, but like just any water move. Not really. It was just an interesting play there. Of course, the moment here.
I have.
Go ahead.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
No, you continue. I think you're getting to it.
Of course, the moment that really killed it for Team Charm was that particular crit. The Bruxish absolutely, the Dunsparce was absolutely setting up coils. It was doing so well. Then Team Charm, you think Team Charm may have sweep there. Bruxish used Psychic Fangs, gets a critical hit. The Dunsparce dies.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
That was a turn that absolutely killed Team Charm's momentum, and in the end, Toki basically just won with Ice Fang. And you know what? Credit to both.
Yeah, but it looked like in the end game that Charm may have actually choked in some other way, because when he used close combat to kill the Bruxish, and Scyther comes in, Charm says, "Wait, whoops,"
So
and loses.
what was the
Why did
plan
he
here?
say whoops? What did he do wrong?
Well, we'll see. Maybe could have gone for another move there, but what was the plan there, Charm? I do question that. What was the plan there?
Did he mean to have like sucker punch on his on his Toxicroak, but he didn't or something.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It would have been a more. It would have absolutely one-charmed the game, despite the ignoble hacks that happened. But yeah, that was a Toki win. Next,
Yeah, maybe I'll ask Charm about that.
next up, we got SVPU. We got Tilanet versus Banderzalo. Now, this game had particular Terra that were kind of interesting. Terra Water Raichu going up against a Terra Steel Gabite. Raichu staying in, of course, surfing the poor Gabite to try to get some water damage here. Gabite staying to take the hit, get the Dragon Tail. All right, interesting turn there. Berserker just had a pretty unlucky time against Mischievous, getting burned once. Well, okay, I'll show you guys. So Mischievous over here had a pretty notable time against Berserker. Mischievous avoids getting flinched by Ironhead, gets off the burn, burns the Berserker in turn 14. Turn 15 comes, and then Ironhead fails to kill Mischievous again, and then proceeds to Hex, and then crit it. Which, assuming if that Berserker is like Choice Band or Assault Vest, that's pretty unlucky.
Well, I I don't know what it was, but I don't think crit mattered at all.
Nah, me neither. It was just a safe win. It was just a safe
It
hit.
did. Hex did 34 without burn, so I think, and if it does twice as much with burn, then obviously the crit didn't matter in the slightest.
I guess it was just me second guessing at that point. So, and towards the end game, we saw the Lilligant looking to be a threat by the end game. But a combination of with the Pollen Puff, of course, but Hatrem. First of all, Hatrem getting to live a Pollen Puff from a Lilligant, which if he hadn't done Mystical Fire, um, if Tilan if Tilan had then done Mystical Fire, Hatram would have easily been dead and Lilligant would have slipped. So it was good for
Not quite. It was either he mystical fires there or he nuzzles, which, I mean, either
well he
one
did both.
results in the Lilligan getting paralyzed.
Well, he did both. So he was gonna go for that Mystical Fire Nuzzle combo anyway. It's just a matter of what to do first. And Mystical Fire actually was the better choice. Had he done Nuzzle, Pollen Puff would have absolutely killed the Hatram.
True.
But it did leave Lilligant crippled against one, the Vespiquen, who got paralyzed and got a U-turn off of. Although I do question, what is that fourth move on Lilligant? If you have Quiver Dance, Pollen Puff, Giga Drain, what is that for fourth move?
Maybe it's Terror Blast.
But he already Terra'd.
Well, yes, so obviously he never used it. But I'm saying I don't really know what else it could be.
Maybe it is Terra Blast and it just wanted for neutral damage. Um, yeah, T-Lanet ended up winning the game with a burned Lycanroc, so good on you.
I will say this, Bandrizalol unfortunately wasted his Terra
Yeah.
because understandably the Gabite was Terra Steel to resist Terra Ice Terra Blast.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Terra Water.
Yeah.
So that ended up not being as good. And it still got neutral damage dealt to it.
Yeah, and in the end, wasting the Terra, you should have saved that for the Lilligant, and obviously the win would have been there. But the win would have been pretty good, honestly. But Tianan, it's a goat. That's all really I can say. Tianan, it's just too much of a PU goat to really try to counteract against that. All All right, next up, we got LC. We got Greedy EB versus LokiFan. Now, oh my god, this game. This game was funny to look back on. First off is turn one when we saw Wattrel not being Volt Absorb. It actually,
Yeah, was that intention?
I don't know if it is. I don't know if it was intentional.
I'm gonna say probably not,
It's
considering he switched it in. Considering he switched it into the Voltorb, it probably wasn't.
no. The chat was saying like literally, we love team builder sabotage. I mean, conspiracy. Thy name is greedy. Um, but this team by LokiFan
No,
comes.
it sounds to me like they got the. No, it sounds to me like they got the team from Ace Hunter 1.
It is a sabotage. Hilarious. Um, the style that LokiFan went for this particular game, the team that he brought was actually very interesting. He got Strudel Copycat, he got Strudel Rain Dance Copycat against a greedy team, particularly a Rain team. So I'm assuming that this thing Surskit is Swift Swim, which is really interesting. Strudel, of course, getting to set up rocks and paralyzing Tinkatink with Copycat was very impressive. There are more impressive builds shown here by LokiFan. First of all, the Terra Fighting Zorua, which absolutely code Glimmet and got some resistance power gem, of course. And then Thunder Drifloon, not Thunderbolt, Thunder Drifloon, especially coupled it with the Rain Dance and the
Yeah,
Dance.
that was very much for the rain. That was very much complementary to the rain aspect of the team.
And of course, this getting of this outspeeding the what +1 Shell Smash Shelter, thanks to Unburden, was definitely the instrumental that ended up winning the game for LokiFan, and it's just a really solidly played game, even with the sabotage team, which is really funny. Next up, SVDOU, we got Chris Numbers versus Zern. Okay.
Sublime, have you not seen any of these games, or do you not know enough about the meta to really comment?
I think both is both an option.
Oh,
Oof.
well, yeah, that is an option.
Ouch, don't be rude to our guest. Okay, alright. Okay. So,
Look, he's not talking very much. I wish to hear a little more from him. And I'm sure the viewers would also want to hear a little more from him.
I'm saving my energy for the Snorlax's game.
he's saving it. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that'll be nice and entertaining.
Alright. So, next up, we got Zern versus Chris Numbers in doubles. Now, looking at this very, very VGC team, um,
I'll be the judge of that. Hmm. Okay, I can see what you mean.
well,
Yeah,
well, except for
they
Glamora.
do look kind of VGC-ish.
Well, except for Glamora. Have you seen Glamora like popping off in VGC nowadays? I don't think so.
I don't know. I've seen it a bit, surprisingly.
Surprising. So there were, speaking of Glamora, there were toxic debris shenanigans in the first couple of turns. Zern's Glamora unsuccessful getting the T spikes in thanks to Mortal Spin. Um, there was control frenzy going on with turn 6 when uh, both Dragonite and Tinglu both hit Stomping Tantrums. Tinglu defeating Gold Dingo, which was a considerable win con for Zern because he really needed that Gold Dingo in order to win. Well, maybe except the Iron Hands, but everything else dies to it. In the end, though, despite the hazards being stacked against him, Zern outplaying the Terrafire Iron Hands by Terra ghosting his Chien Pao, and then defeating Mousehold and Golden Go for the win. This Golden
Missed an opportunity to say a cool line, like having the odds and the hazards stacked against him.
Zern is a multi-man. Zern once again picking up a solid win in doubles. Chris, despite building great teams, hasn't been able to pick up a win.
Yeah, I sort of figured this would kind of happen though. I never really saw him being too successful in this sort of overpowered doubles pool.
Overpowered, yeah. This is what I thought. There is gonna be at least one player that's gonna be lost in the shuffle, and Chris Numbers, unfortunately, is that guy in a team full of in a tier full of Zerns, SMBs, and Fayettes.
Zerns, SMBs, Fayettes, Akaru Kokoyos, Rafts.
And cheese and
Like,
nuts.
yeah, he's
And
unfortunately lost in the shuffle.
and sitting on Atagos, unfortunately. Next.
Wait, no. Atago, he does not have a lot of wins, you see.
Oof. Oof. Dragging on your own teammate. Anyway, next up, Ceru.
No, I'm just stating the truth. That Atago's basically in a similar situation as Chris Numbers, so I didn't really
At least,
include them in the list.
at
I'm
least Cheese is
sorry.
winning. At least Cheese is winning games.
Once. He'll win more in the future, though.
Next up, Monotype. We got JoJo Numbers versus Ceru. Ice versus Flying. Already a pretty bad matchup for your JoJo Numbers to be in. This game saw the second instance. I don't know which one was played first, but this saw an instance of a particular Kilowattrel set that I've grown to really hate.
Kate?
It's the Endeavor Focus Sash, uh, Hurricane Thunderbolt, Kilowattrel.
Yeah, it's a thing. And, that wasn't even the only time that week it was used.
Yeah, it's not. So this proved to be pretty good against the Baxcalibur, especially making it look like a chump, not really a threat. Especially missing that icicle crash, which was pain, but it was gonna die anyway. Corviknight managing to having taunt to brush off both Aurora Veil, Abomasnow, and preventing Avalok from getting either recoveries or setting ups. Uh, and yeah, Cloyster ended up, sweeping the end game for Ceru, which after revealing Titan and Titan getting burned and not really doing anything, you just kind of expected, okay, it's gonna be Cloyster who's gonna sweep for the rest of the remaining team, and there you go, Ceru ended up winning with Cloyster.
It's either your Cloyster just kind of dies or it sweeps.
And Ceru took the latter option to win for the Skeleturges. Well done. Alright, next series. We got the Resort City Rufflets losing to the Primal Power Pangoros.
Why are the Pangoros doing so well? I thought they were not as good as the other teams, Micoy.
Yeah, they were ranked, 7th on my tier list, but everyone seems to think they're like...
They were ranked very low on a number of tier lists.
But you know what? Credit to them. They actually are pulling off the underdog performances of a lifetime. Kudos to the Pangoros for doing that.
Yeah, and frankly, I don't like it because I want to win. And you see, I'm sure Sublime here feels the same.
They all want to win.
Yes, yes.
They all want to
I
win.
think
Go on.
the Pangoros. I think the reason they are winning is because like uh, the players of the team can play multiple tiers. Like I think Madaya and Spitfire are doing well in multiple tiers.
Yeah, and it's a real benefit to them that they
True.
have a niche player for every single tier. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how the Pangoras are doing so well. But you know what? Kudos to them. I actually really like that. I really like that a low ranked team is absolutely doing amazingly. Kicking off this first match, though, where they did not go amazingly, Sylveon used Calm Mind versus Ceru Napoli. This
Has
one,
Ceru Napoli won any games since Jade?
what's his record right now?
I think he has won two. Uh,
So he hasn't won. He hasn't won against anyone except for Jade.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Jade Jade cursed Ceru Napoli. Okay, that's the story here.
All your games from this point on will be losses.
That's the
Ooh.
that's the true that's the true nature of what Jade's doing. It's like cursing players to not win, except for other instances, which we'll get to soon. Well, anyway,
Yeah, I don't think your statement holds up very well, Micoy.
well, it's fine. Let's review the game, shall we? First of all, the Slowking felt very crippled after its rally with Glamora in the beginning parts of this game, poisoned and low on health. I really wish Ceru Napoli would have just kept it at the end game or some reason. Well, yes, it is good that he got rid of Gomorrah early. Try to get some rapid spins on. It's just, it's not right. Um, hard switching into King Gambit against an attacking. Oh wait, before that, Slowking having chilly reception here, which boosts the power of its defense quite nicely. It was a good. It was a good.
What? Say what?
Doesn't chili reception boost defense
What?
against ice types? I don't. Oh wait, I'm thinking a snowscape.
I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking a snowscape.
Yeah, yes, looking is not an ice type.
Yeah, I'm thinking a snowscape, not chili reception. Anyway, chili reception.
Chilly reception is like teleport, but with snow.
Yeah. But you know what? Despite me screwing that whole thing up, it didn't really matter because Slowking ended up dying to the Iron Moth, which the sludge waves really
Yeah, it
hurt.
died to Raj.
It died to Raj, a very, very unfortunate death to Raj. Here's the thing, though. The King Gambit revealed Terra Flying, okay? And and then we get the hard, and then we get the substitute, blah blah blah, all that. Greninja comes in, gets the icicle spears kicked out of it. That's fine and good. Why the piss did? Why the piss at turn 19 would he hard switch to back to King Gambit in order to take the icicle spear? King Gambit should be really saved for late game scenarios, not this kinds of scenarios.
Well, I guess he wanted to sack it. Is that so hard to understand? I mean, obviously it's a bad switch-in, so he probably meant to sack it.
It's a bad switching, but really, it could have been saved again. It could have been saved to kill Excalibur, not to get sacked by it.
No, it couldn't.
I don't
No,
know. Some
well,
could.
I guess it. Wait, no, I guess it could, but he didn't need it. He didn't need it anymore because Dragon Knight had extreme speed, which basically did the same job King Gambit would have. Although we later see that maybe he did need King Gambit in the long run because of the Terra Ghost Iron Valiant that proceeded to almost sweep.
Yeah, this was the game you were talking about, the E-Speed spam against the Terra Ghost in Terra Ghost Iron
No,
Valiant.
no, it wasn't.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. I was
Anyway,
thinking of a last week game.
the extreme speed spam against an Iron Valiant, Otsasake, okay, fine. But and of course the King Gambit, and then of course the Greninja getting up against the King Gambit. And then we pull off one of the bigger moments that happened is that this does Earthquake, King Gambit reveals Metal Burst and ends up killing the Great Tusk that way.
The Great Tusk did not run a fighting move, and the King Gambit took an Earthquake quite well. And thus, Metal Burst
And he did
gone.
Metal Burst, and it's gone. GG. Another win column for the Sylveon guy. That makes him 4-0. At least at the time of this recording. 4-0.
At the time of this recording? What, he didn't play already, did he?
We'll see. Anyway, next up, ACR1 versus KDCA. Now, this is a game. This was a game. This is the game of all time, as he mentioned. Breloom
A
knocking.
game of all time?
This game started off with Breloom absolutely calling against the Golden Go. If it would have knocked out Golden Go with a bulldoze over here in the bulletin in the first part of this turn, it would have absolutely Breloom could have been a nasty threat against the Tinglu, maybe against anything else, maybe the Great Tusk, but everything else just dies to it. I don't know. It would have been nice to kill the Goldingo really early on.
Well, you can't help it when they switch out.
Speaking of switching out, the Great Tusks rivalry. KDCA's Great Tusk proved to be ineffective against ACR1s because it just couldn't kill this boy. After -2 defense and you still couldn't kill the Great Tusk? What the hell?
Well, he didn't. Wait, what turns are we referring to?
Turn 16 to 17.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't what I was looking at. One moment. Here we go. Yeah.
How the hell?
Well, you see, Micoy, Great Tusk is very bulky, so an Earthquake wasn't enough.
Why did he go for Earthquake anyway?
What else does he go for? That's his hardest hitting move here.
If he had close combat.
What, does he go for Rapid Spin?
If he had
Knockoff?
close combat, he would have absolutely sniped it.
We see, Micoy, I don't think he had that. Probably had Bulk Up or Stealth Rock.
Oh boy.
Oh wait, the Garganicle had Stealth Rock, so it's probably Bulk Up Tusk.
Speaking of Garganicle absolutely becomes the MVP for KCDA because it proved to be an unkillable wall for ACR1 to handle. Just really couldn't get any purchase.
As usual.
Yeah, I couldn't get any purchase against him, and ultimately the Garganicle absolutely murdered ACR1. It just solo carried it into a win.
Ironically, against a team that doesn't even look that bad against Garganicle.
Ultimately, just lose. Anything Garganicle touches is dead. The Saltimon.
Yes, anytime you face a Garganicle, you will end up salty.
Next up, SV Ubers. We got Richard Millie.
I'm funny.
Next up in SV Ubers, Richard Millie playing versus the FC. Now this game was really short, and between two really good Ubers players, that's saying something. There was a moment where the Terrifier Chiyu was a standout, being able to safely 2-hit KO Koraidon safely. kind of sweeping everything else.
Safely, do it safely.
Do it very safely. It also, I believe this, I believe it was this or another mon we'll be seeing that had taunt. Oh no, it was probably it was most likely oh no, it was the Fluttermane. Excuse me. It was the Fluttermane that has the taunt. Fluttermane and Koraidon both having taunt. Unable to set up anything with Toxapex Richard Millie playing. He just basically got crippled. FC ended up playing better, ultimately won.
Once again, a balloon Fluttermane was brought here.
I mean, if you want to avoid, you want to avoid them earthquakes against the Great Tusk, and, I guess.
Tends to be Headlong Rush, I think, but yeah.
Headlong Rush or Spikes damage. Either or. Next up.
Okay, I guess that's sort of fair.
Next up, SVUU, we got Madaya versus Udon Girl. This was a good game, ladies and gentlemen. Udon Girl, say what you will about her.
Not for me, because Udon Girl lost.
You know what? Despite Udon Girl, they've got some good games in UU. Udon Girl's been giving some good games in UU. Despite her having a winless record, she actually has some pretty good games under her belt in UU. She can absolutely play, very evenly matched against certain players if given the chance. Although there are a couple of moments that made me go, huh? What the heck? Okay, first off, Terra Grass Magnezone being very early revealed is an interesting strat.
Well, figured I want to catch it off guard, I guess, but it didn't work.
Didn't work. The rest of this game, though, was very evenly
I
split.
mean, you would think you see a Decidueye on the team, you would just simply assume switching to that versus the Gastrodon rather than staying in with something that could just get killed by it. So the early Terra into Terra Grass would catch a lot of people off guard, I think. But Madaya was not caught off guard.
Actually played pretty decently as the game went on. The both sides ended up playing very evenly towards the remaining parts of this game until, Madaya revealed Oricorio, who had Terra Water and had Revelation Dance and Hurricane. That ultimately became the MVP and ultimately swept Udon Girl. Well, not swept, it just wins against all of it. When the Tyranitar died and the Powdon died, it was really only a matter of time until the Oricorio really started sweeping, and fortunately got to where it was, and Madaya ultimately broke out a win. Nothing much else to say, just really solid plays by both players. Udon Girl kind of looks strong in defeat, while Madaya picks up a solid win.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the Terra Grass sort of did Udon Girl more harm than good in this game.
Yeah, I know, right? Like losing that defensive typing in favor of just going for the Gastrodon. It was a risky play. It was a risky play in the span of things, but it did more harm than good in the end. You're right.
Yeah, I think if Udon Girl didn't Terra, it would have been maybe a bit easier to deal with the Oricorio. I don't know though, because then the water revelation dance could have hurt.
Yeah, and well, then again, Gastrodon did have Storm Drain, so Udon, so there was that
What?
mentality going against it. That
What?
Gastrodon.
What do you mean?
Wait, what was I talking about? The Oricorio.
Well,
Hmm?
I mentioned the Terra Water Revelation Dance would hurt against the Magnezone if it didn't Terra, and then you brought up Gastrodon for some reason.
Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot that Madaya was the one who had Gastrodon and Oricorio. Yeah. Anyway, next up is SVRU Plus versus Just Franco. This was domination.
Wait, this is an RU game. Sublime, are you here? Sublime?
Next up is Just Franco versus Plus.
Game. I hope special guest Sublime has some comments.
So what do you think of this game?
Speak closer to your phone. You're quiet.
I actually watched this game. I watched this game,
So
and
what do you think of the game?
I I think the calm mind Sylveon could 6-0 plus easily the game. It was a really good matchup because from the Arcanine damage on Tatsugiri, you can find out that Arcanine isn't max attack.
That Arcanine is max attack, you said?
It isn't max attack because it did 50. Yeah, max attack Arcanine does around 7.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's fair. I think a lot of Arcanine tend to run some bulk rather than full on attack, right?
Especially with
yeah,
their set of
sometimes, but
Morning Sun and Will-O-Wisp.
it was a dire normal Arcanine, so I think it should run some attack investment to revenge things like Gardevoir, Salazzle, etc.
Okay, yeah, which is plausible. Of course, this game was a total domination. As you may know, this game was a total domination. Franco easily dispatched Plas here. First of all, just getting rid of hazards in general, just not worrying about hazards thanks to Miss Magius having Levitate and Bronzong having Levitate. Um,
You
and
say Miss Magius?
mm, please, we're not about to have this debate again. Miss Magius, Miss Magius, Miss Magius.
I say Miss Magius.
Miss Magius. I also pronounce it like that. Miss
We're
Magius.
not having this debate again, PokeArt. I say Miss Magius because it's a magic guy. Okay.
It's a female. Isn't Miss
That's
Magius 100% female?
It's a Mag. You're gonna call it Magic. Magic Meg. Anyway, Miss Magius is
I just think Miss Magius sounds better.
anyway, the witch Pokemon did a Terra Fairy and Draining Kiss strat, first of all, really crippling the actually it crippled the Klefki a lot more than um which really surprised me because the Klefki was the one that it took out rather than, the Passimian, which looks like a shoe ball and like, hey, that's the Miss Magius counter. And yeah, the and then of course, second half of the game, we got the Demon Bronzong.
Yep. Can't have a Bronzong that isn't a demon Bronzong, am I right?
You're the only one who says
If
that.
the
Go ahead,
Blast
Sublime.
could have a chance if the Arcanine was invested in attack. Because max attack Flare Blades kills Miss Magius from full.
Oof.
Also would have killed the Arcanine pretty heftily because the Arcanine would have straight up if it didn't Terra normal, like it would actually match up well against the Demon Bronzong. However, Demon Bronzong got a Demon Bronzong.
Yes, what you said, I guess.
Next up, we got SVNU Piyush versus Velvet, which was originally Piyush versus
and Helio, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was Anhelia versus Piyush, and then it got to Piyush versus Velvet. Velvet didn't play, and it's pretty evident that this NU isn't one of her strongest tiers because, whew. Um, first of all, First of all, though, I will give credit to Velvet for carrying a Terra Fairy to Dunsparce, proving to be quite a decent threat, shrugging off the Dragon Tail from Electros, obliterating it with Boom Burst, and unfortunately just getting a crucial time to get paralyzed for poor the Dunsparce against the Scyther, which would have killed it otherwise. So after
Yeah.
So after the Dunsparce fiasco, Velvet then tried to wish stall with against Electros with Vaporeon, which, as you may know, is like a bad situation
Yeah, I don't see that ending well in most cases.
because
Especially because Discharge has a fair amount of PP.
Discharge and Giga Drain both have a fair amount of PP, and yeah, wish stalling it. Not exactly with a Pokemon that is weak to both Discharge and Giga Drain, which Piyush just so happened to carry. It's just a bad. It's just a bad motif. It's just a worse idea to have. After that, yeah, Velvet just kind of lost all the momentum in the world, and Piyush just handily beat her.
To be fair, there wasn't really any safe switch in to Electros after, the Dunsparce died.
Yeah, it was just really after the Dunsparce died that Velvet had lost all the momentum in the world. She couldn't really find any good switch-ins to have, and also didn't really couldn't really play around Electros all that well. And unfortunately, that cost her the game.
Yep.
Next up, we got Hennebersite versus Pap. Whew. All right, this game. I think we saw this live actually.
Upset, right?
For me, it totally is. For you, I don't think it is.
Really? Is it not?
Well, for you, well, do you think it's an upset? I don't know if most people
I
do.
think it's an upset.
I
All right, I
think
don't think most
I,
people
I, I
do.
do think it's an upset. Why is it not an upset?
That's just what most people think. It's not an upset. Wish easily outplayed 10% here. Well, let me tell you why, okay? Pap did play well in the first couple of turns, taking little damage as possible against Crabominable and the Nuzzling Honchkrow, taking hits well against the Guts Luxray, which 10% brought. Actually, proved very, very effective. And then there's the MVP.
Not something you see every day.
Yeah, and then there's the MVP, the Terra Steel Air Rotom, which had Substitute and Discharge doing absolutely wonders for it. Killing the Luxray, killing the Moxie Honchkrow. There was of course the moment where 10% got a setup Go Goat ready, and Pap just kind of tried to air slash flinch it to try to get some purchase. Got a lucky one at that, and then proceeded to absolutely sweep Centerbur with it. It was just all in the matter of fact of that Rotom fan absolutely getting the substitute in, getting an air slash and discharge in very effectively, and in turn won him the game. Credit where credit is due.
Yep, that sub Terra Steel Rotom fan was a bit of a menace.
Yeah, that proved to be a very effective menace as well. So good job, good job, Wesh Papillon for that one. Tenebrous didn't have exactly the cleanest of losses. but it was still a loss.
Also, good job, Wesh, for bringing a Pupitar.
Yeah, Pupitar. I mean, Pupitar is kind of good, right? If you want the rocker.
Micoy, do you ever watch any PU games?
No.
Surely you've seen some.
I've seen some. I've played some, but I've never seen Pupitar in. I've never seen Pupitar in PU Pitar.
That's my point.
PU Pitar.
Oh my god.
Alright, get Pupitar to PU level just for that pun alone. Alright, next up. SVLC. Hacker versus Drifting. This I this you actually called
This
this.
one was an upset.
Hmm?
LC is a weird
That's the
tier.
blood.
What was that, Sublime?
LC is a weird tier.
Yeah.
I'm saying LC is a weird tier.
Yeah, this one is a absolutely like crapshoot of a tier. Like I've already made my feelings known that I do not like Gen 9 LC. I hope Home does it justice. Um,
I think a lot of people have made it known that they don't like Gen 9 LC.
ugh.
A lot of people who we've had as guests too.
Only one person has liked Gen 9 LC so far. One guest. You know which one.
And
We'll
who
get
was
to him.
that?
We'll get to him later. All right. But for now, Hacker versus Drifting. Um, there were a couple of good moments in this game. First of all, the Terra Water Toad School, which was kind of a threat in the early games, shrugging off the webs and getting the Spore and Power Whip against a pretty intimidating Crabrawler with an interesting set. Well, not interesting. It just literally revealed Bulk Up and Thunder Punch. But you know what? It was threatening against every single one of Drifting's mons. I wouldn't be hard pressed to see if I actually had those Fire Punch and Ice Punch. Um, Special Stanky also did some work here.
Yeah, it probably didn't.
It's a Special Stanky.
I think it was just.
Go ahead.
I think it was just T punch, bulk up, drain punch, and whatever else it
Ice
runs.
Punch. Ice Punch is the fourth move, I think.
Oh,
Ice Punch.
so it runs
Iron
just 3 punches. That's cool.
Fist. I mean, it's an
Even
Iron Fist move.
Earthquake in some cases.
It makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, so yeah, Special Stunky also did some work baiting Drifting into doing Will-O-Wisp, and absolutely killing Tinkatink and Nimble to go along with it. Very nice there. In the end, though, we saw Drifloon coming back and then outplaying the Mudbray and the Poniard, leading to Drifting getting the surprise upset W. Acrobatics doing so much to Mudbray. There was the Poniard getting burned, Drifloon having Destiny Bond, um, and yeah, Stunky absolutely getting a flamethrower in. Yeah, that was a surprise. A surprise.
Can we talk about how? Yeah, it was a surprising win. Can we talk about what Hacker named his Stunky?
What was it?
um, do you want to check? Well, let's just say we actually have him on for the next portion of this video, which was already pre-recorded.
Wait, let me go to that turn. Let me go to that turn to see what this did he name us for. Oh yeah, Mr. Pap. All right, Mr. Pap the Stunky. Pap is stinky, apparently.
Yeah, that
Hackers
man.
words, not mine.
Maybe it's better. Maybe it's better Pap wasn't with us for this review session.
Hackers words, not mine, Pap. Okay. Next up, SVDOU. We got Aragon versus Wrath. Now, this game actually had a lot of like interesting sets. Like interesting sets that you would normally see in like say VGC, for example. We've been watching a lot of VGC.
Oh, Micoy.
We've been watching a lot of VGC, okay? That's why
Well,
I've been bringing it up.
Well, Micoy, you see, there's a pretty distinct fundamental similarity between the two. What is it?
A lot of freaking paradox usage there.
I meant they're both in doubles, Micoy.
I know, I'm just making jokes. Okay. So, we got turn one. We got the weakness policy strat with the iron bundle going into the armor rouge using flip turn. Getting up that weak armor and the weakness policy activating. Which is really nice. Of course, there was an expanding force against.
Until the Chen Pao used Ice Spinner to get rid of the terrain, which made it so you can't you can't actually utilize your terrain anymore. Well, it's gone now. Can't expanding force spread anymore.
Yeah, it is gone, along with the setter itself, indeed. But he got burned.
Yeah, as well as the thing that removed it, Chen Pao, in the following turn, because it got burned by Heat Wave.
Yeah, Sash Heat Wave, absolutely killing the Chen Pao. Bam.
Absolutely. Yeah, it got burned after getting it down to Sash, and it died.
And you know what? The rest of the game, it was what it was. Had Ref just targeted the Palafin for the majority of this game, maybe with Shadow Ball, maybe with Freeze Dry, it maybe could have Ref maybe could have won.
I don't know. I think Aragon still played this a bit better. He did very well to shut down the cheesy strat at the beginning.
It did. It was just a what it was that one particular turn made him like, okay, this was heavily in Aragon's favor by that point. But Ref could easily brought it back if he just targeted the Palafin after the Qianpao had died, so he would have the momentum back in his
Well,
favor.
thing is about that, Micoy, Raph won if the Iron Hands didn't hit itself in confusion.
That's what I was. Yeah, that was that was what I was getting into. The end game saw the Iron Hands. It hit itself with confusion. It was probably gonna target the Palafin finally to try and get some purchase into it. And as soon as that as soon as it hit with confusion, Raph basically lost at that point. So yeah, Aragon would have still won, but I'm just saying.
Micoy, by that point, it was a one-on-one.
But Raph could have still won by that point. I'm just saying it would have been maybe easier for Raph to do it, and for the majority of game, I feel like he was being threatened by it.
Yeah, Palafin under rain. Yikes.
It is hard.
It's always yikes.
It is hard. That's why you want to target it.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's why you want to target it as quickly as possible before it gets really going.
See, he wasn't really worried about it in the end game because he figures I still got my Iron Hands and I still got my Golden Go. It just needs to kill the Golden Go, and and then the Iron Hands just kills the Palafin. It takes care of it. No, it got confused by Hurricane and it hit itself.
It the game. It was pretty unfortunate. So yeah, that particular hacks happened. Also, the next game also featured some hacks happening. We got Lithium Z versus Maroon. Okay.
Hacks on which side exactly?
Let's just say, well, hacks equals speed tie.
Oh.
So
okay.
It was a hazard field opening at the start, both setting up a Tinglu pretty nicely. And then it came down to Chien Pao versus Chien Pao. Bam. Maroon's Chien Pao.
Well,
Go on.
That is a thing that happens sometimes. When one Chien Pao outspeeds the other Chien Pao,
Guess what?
You lose your Chien Pao, and then you essentially lose the game.
With the Chien Pao. Because Maroon's Chien Pao absolutely killed Lithium Z. And you know what? This game also brought about something very funny that I noticed in the chat. Pre-home dart. Use non-prankster Thunderwave Sableye and win versus Chien Pao every time. I'm like, you know what? I want to do that.
Is that genius or...
I kind of want to use that strat. If we're running Sableye, we'll make sure it doesn't get prankster. So it just wins against the Chien Pao.
Yeah, but at the same time, that is just slower than everything.
I know. Just have it get lucky paralyzes or something. I don't know. Maybe hacks, maybe foolhardy. I just like to see it. Anyway, Lithium Z won.
I think I like what Lithium Z suggested more in the chat. Low kick Sableye.
Low kick Sableye for what? King Gambit? Or Chien Pao?
No, for Chien Pao.
For real. It is kind of an unusual but super techie strat. Yeah. Maroon won with Chien Pao. That's all we need. That's all we have to say. All right.
Yep.
Time for both of you can tag back in because it's now time for the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes finally winning a week against the Ice Path Iron Bundles.
Let's go.
First up, One Last Kiss versus Star Master. My God, was I left feeling pissed after that? The game started off really
How
well.
did you feel about it, Sublime?
What do you think, Sublime?
The team, if they didn't switch, because I think OLC predicted that it's a choice banded bugs caliber. There was wrong with that. But I think they didn't need to do that. Do that.
Okay.
Am I audible?
I specifically meant how did you react with the timer? But your input is appreciated. I said I meant how did you react to the little timer instance?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, want to elaborate?
You do remember how Star Master won this game, right?
I don't know. I didn't watch the full game, I think. But I watched it till the point that...
I think you need to watch the full game.
Excalibur used Sword Dance and Solo GG.
No, I think you need to watch the full game.
Or have me explain it, because my God, was I left feeling pissed off watching this game.
You were pissed off, Micoy, and my entire team was in despair.
So, this game, One Last Kiss was outplaying Star Master. For better or for worse, 100% outplaying Star Master in this game. He got the Volcarona. He got the setup. He even had Giga Drain to take care of the Terra Water Hatren. He had Fire Dance rolling around against everything. And then, turn 20, 21, he lost the timer. I'll say it once, and I'll say it again. Fuck timer.
You heard him, Sublime. That's what happened.
Does it really matter though? Because plus 2 back caliber OH kills everything.
Oh, no, we didn't lose to Excalibur. We actually killed that thing. Well, maybe not killed, but basically we had every possible counter in the back. Like, One Last Kiss explained how we very easily did not lose to it.
Simply put, One Last Kiss won. 100%.
Yeah, it was actually unlosable at the time because we had our answer to Excalibur nice and ready in the back.
That thing was ready, that thing was willing, and that thing was Gable.
I believe he said Terra Steel Dragapult it was with D-Darts, which killed.
Yikes, yikes, and yikes. Anyway, yeah. One Last Kiss should have won. Next up. Jade.
Yeah, this is one of the games that prompted my manager, Chait, to say, we really shot ourselves in the foot this week.
Oh,
The mixed dragon. Also, I don't think dragon darts will kill it. Let me tell.
It did. It was invested enough to kill.
He built that specifically to kill it. Ah, well.
Yeah, I saw One Last Kiss's team. It was indeed enough.
Oh, well. Did you do the calc beforehand as well?
No, I just did the calc after the game.
Okay. Anyway.
We were fine.
And then
so yeah, it was purely a timer loss. We didn't lose to any other elements.
You were fine, and then you were effed.
That's unfortunate. Not for us. Not for us.
Hmm?
That's unfortunate for you, I guess.
Yeah. You guys were probably pretty happy, though.
We sure were.
Alright, next game. We got Kebab Mill versus JJ09 Lee. This game. Alright.
This one was an interesting one.
It was.
The end game
was interesting.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, this one was pretty interesting.
Like if you see the end game.
Go on.
The end game was really like 50-50 in the end game. And JJ got the play wrong.
If I'm not wrong, I think this was a bit of an unfavorable matchup for Kebab. The Sun versus his HO.
This is completely HO? Alright. Oh yeah, it was. It looks to be it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, this one was very interesting. Kebab had a pretty strong start. Eject Pack, Great Tusk, and Iron Moth doing the coordination very well, doing the job on Cinderace. That was massively like outplaying the Sun, basically. He used Sun to his advantage. That's alright. So you mentioned Kebab that this Roaring Moon was choice banded, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The Roaring Moon that JJ
What was choice band?
The Roaring Moon that JJ brought, that was banned.
Oh.
So it makes sense why the frick. Okay. Terra Electric Iron Valiant. It was interesting to see Kebab do the Terra on Iron Valiant on Electric of all things. Was it to go up against the Torkoal? Or not the Torkoal. The Torkoal, yeah. Was against the Torkoal. Probably against the Walking Wake as well.
Not the Wake. I mean, I think the Wake was dead by that point.
Maybe, yeah, but
Yeah, the Wake was dead in the end.
yeah, it was dead. But yeah, it was very interesting that Iron Valiant took the Bay and took the Terra Electric to go up against the Torkoal with Thunderbolt to kill it, and then Roaring Moon to kill this, and the ending ended up being very close. King Gambit won a pretty good switch in, getting a sword stance uh off of a switch in on Great Tusk. Although I do question why the piss didn't Great Tusk go for like a close combat or a headlong rush?
Because he didn't have the fighting move, and the Gambit was balloon, so he couldn't use the ground move.
Oh yeah, he had an air balloon. But you guys didn't have a fighting move? That's appalling. It was at the bulk up earthquake.
Micoy, this is the second time this has happened this week. What are you talking about?
It was probably the bulk up knock up rapid spin thing. It did have knockoff.
Yeah, it was that set.
It did have knockoff, but like knockoff.
I think the bulk up set doesn't run. The bulk up set doesn't run fighting.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So yeah, the bulk up. So yeah, he's not. It didn't go for like. It would have been a safe pick, but still. And then the ending, of course, saw the sucker punch. Just Kebab carrying the sucker punch all the way down to hell and by to Roaring Moon. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the second time we see a King Gambit beating a Great Tusk this week. Who would have thought?
And I think this is like the second time in all of BLT that a King Gambit won with a sucker punch and a clutch win.
Only the second time?
Oh, has it happened multiple times? I forget. Anyway.
I don't know, but it seems like it very well could.
I almost saw the one. Anyway.
I mean, Gambit is a broken Pokemon.
It is a pretty broken
Yes.
Pokemon.
Yes, it is.
Singles or doubles. Next up, SVUU, we got MTB versus Genius from Hoenn. Oh boy, do I not want. Oh my god, this game. This game sucks. Well, there are multiple Overs games that sucks, but this one wasn't really the best one. Because MTB, to be fair to him, he did look to have a pretty strong team against Genius from Hoenn.
What can I say? We were outmatched.
Hoenn easily outclassed MTB in this one, playing better, just out predicting him at any point. It's not the worst day in the world, but just man, this game I can't talk about how like not just incredibly like it is on skill wise, but just how incredibly predictable it ended up being.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but MTP played too predictably. Never went for a knockoff or anything to try to catch the Flutter Mane, even though Genius from Hoenn isn't exactly that great of a player and usually makes the more obvious plays. So I felt like we should have been able to catch that, but I guess not.
And of course, the ending saw the Terra Ground King Gambit ended up taking the win and absolutely walling Miraidon.
Yeah, that caught me off guard.
I like the idea though.
Not that we thought we would win, but that felt kind of that just rubbed salt in the wound, and there's no Garganical here.
Unfortunately, you have to cry with a heaping pounds of salt because Uber's wasn't exactly a good choice. Anyway, next up,
Let me wait.
go.
I was gonna say this matchup isn't great against the balloon fluttermane and the sash Genpao.
Right.
So setting up things early and constantly going for headlong rushes and stuff didn't work.
Yeah.
And I guess for someone who doesn't play Ubers very much, it gets a little difficult to go for more risky plays to outpredict.
Which is a
So
shame.
yeah,
Which is a shame. Absolute shame. But that's Bonds for you.
and MTB was a last minute sub. Be aware of that.
Unfortunately so. Next up, SVUU. We got TMM versus Slip.
There was no doubt TMM would win this.
Although Slip did bring again. This is a comment. This is becoming a running thing here. Slip absolutely surprised us with builds this time. This time actually bringing a Hydro Pump Salamence specifically to take out Tyranitar.
Well, Tyranitar is everywhere. And
And
Hippowdon is a fair amount of places too.
so it only makes sense for you to bring a Hydro Pump Salamence in UU.
And Sandy Shocks is a lot of places as well.
And
And so is Talonflame. Thinking about all that, it seems Hydro Pump ain't all too bad.
it's not all too bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just an uncommon set that actually works.
That's true. It's not the most common. It's definitely not.
Speaking of
Sublime, what did you bring the Hydro Pump Salamence for? Do you know?
I don't really see the UU chat, but I think that was for Tyranitar, because Tyranitar is fairly common for Salamence.
see, told you, Tyranitar. See, you're right. Tyranitar is pretty common, and so that's why you bring things like Hydro Pump Salamence.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Also, kind of a sleeper hit was the Terra Ghost Wochien, putting in some good defensive work, matching up very well against
Or
that.
do you mean a slipper hit?
Yeah, it is a slipper hit, and made Terra Ice Sandy Shocks just kind of be threatened by it. Kind of slipped and fall towards a Terra Ghost Snail. A very good
Did
play.
you really just say that?
I had to follow up your pun, okay? Okay. Um, towards the end of the game, though, after Lucario had knocked out Alamamola, TMM had the matchup in favor, and ultimately have won. A
That's
good
just what he do. That's just what TMM do.
one.
There was no doubt that he would win here, in my opinion. I told Pote that.
Next up, SVRU. This was a mugging, 100% a mugging. The Franklin versus Let's Rumble, shall we?
Ah, yes. Would you like to comment on this one, Sublime? It's RU and it's your teammate.
The Passimian, I think, but I don't know. Like, we prepared for prepared for the things, but Passimian was really unpredictable in this. Like, I didn't expect that, and like Franklin also mentioned later that we didn't have fighting. So it was bad. And I guess
Speak a little closer to your phone.
I think it was we did our best. I guess I can't say much about this.
Right. Okay. So this game, we saw turn one, as you said, the Pessimian was pretty unpredictable. So, getting that early lead switch in with Crocodile with Intimidate really put the pressure against uh Hellray really early on in turn one, especially because like Pessimian just can go
I
anywhere.
think inertial did a little misplay in the starting because like you never need a crocodile in front of a person.
Yeah, because he switched in really like he then switched it out against Bronzong, which I think Hellray should have really kept healthy, especially against the Pessimian because
What?
Pessimian is really
What? Bronzog.
because
I
he
forgot he brought that.
because it didn't
The
do much
crocodile was Terra.
because it didn't do
I think
it didn't do anything.
I mean I think the play here was to like not sack something but go for Terra Ghost group. The crocodile was Terra Ghost here. Get the rocks and maybe a potential earthquake on Osimian.
If he had Terra Ghosted,
Wait, which one was Terra Ghost?
Crocodile was Terra Ghost.
Crocodile. Yeah,
Oh.
if he had Terra Ghosted with Crocodile, maybe he would have had some sort of leverage against it. I think he might have just predicted that it would go for U-turn or close combat. It was gonna go for close combat either way because look at the freaking like set that in there. What other move would Arsenine really go for other than close combat? Because this one's a pretty like weak team. And then if you want to catch it off guard, you might as well Terra Ghost. So that really shocked me. Why didn't Hellray do that? Didn't Hellray think to do that?
Yeah, Hellray didn't play this one too great.
No, no, he really didn't. He did try. I mean, he did try for a couple of things. Like first of all, Terra Water, Abomasnow. What was the plan there? Hellray tried to go for Titan Belly Drum, but that has a low ass success rate.
Well, you see, Arsenine had a Klefki with Prankster.
And it got the lucky pair off to do a thunder wave to try to kill the thing. And Revavroom ended up becoming the MVP of this game, boosting its speed, boosting it despite having -1 attack for pretty much the whole game. It flinched Crocodile at one point and killed Barraskewda with a gunk shot. I was that Revavroom like max attack or something because it just kept getting hits after hits.
I don't know. I don't tend to check the RU channel because obviously Arsenine needs no help.
I
Yeah, but
would
this
assume
Barraskewda.
that the river would reflect like adamant because river and adamant nature most of the time. Shift gear river.
Yeah, I was also that if it's max attack, if it is max attack Revavroom, then I could see it happening. But like that is a really strong Revavroom. Being able to really do some damage, especially here turn 17 against the top two Giri, despite -1, it still did 79, which wow.
Well, you see, I'm looking at the team right now. It's max attack.
It's adamant nature as well. Is it adamant?
Adamant nature.
See,
It is.
you're right, Sublime. The max attack really helped things matter, and then Arsenine ultimately picked up the win. All right, next up we got Chaitanya versus Ziri. This was this wasn't the last game played. Lithium.
GD got
What were you about to say, Sublime?
I'm really
This was the last game played, Micoy. This was.
Oh, this was. All right.
yeah. This was the last game. This was the last game, and the deciding one.
The deciding one, yes.
You're right. It was a pretty exciting game because, yeah, it decided the week.
It decided the week, and you guys
But
lost.
also, it wasn't a bad game at all.
You lost.
Although, admittedly, Jade misplayed a bit.
Okay, so a couple of things that happened in this game. There was the illusion war at the start of the game, which we saw the Zeres went for and Zoroark went and Chates went for U-turn, which absolutely did massive chunks to Zeres Zoroark, which is very nice. There were interesting sets on display here. First of all, Ice Beam Whiscash. Wow. Was that in the planning?
I'm more so surprised he brought a Whiscash.
I mean, Whiscash was legal. Whiscash is finally legal now, guys.
It's been for a while now.
Basically, Team Charm got effed over from the Skimmy God matchup in week 1 because Whiscash is now finally legal. And then of course Zeri actually brought a Rest Talk Magneton, which you never really get to see run rampant there.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I like it. I think it's a pretty unique set. Maybe it is for like things like Terra Fairy or Ring or something like that. So speaking of Ursaring, it looked to be a major threat. But then the Trick Scarf from I believe it was Zoroark or it was Zoroark, who managed to Trick Scarf it into its rest talking phase to allow it to really cripple it in the long run. So Jade really couldn't do anything about his Ursaring. It just was kept to one move, and that one move was either Sleep Talk or Play Rough. In the end, though, we saw the critical hit Volt Switch coming from a Scarf Trick Magneton, which I think it ended up mattering. As Zoroark really felt too low for Che to really sweep with Dark Pulse, and Appleton not really. And here's another play that boggled my mind. Turn 53, we saw Appleton recovering instead of going for the kill on Scyther. Had he killed Scyther right there, what would Zeri have done next? Would he have flash cannoned into a possible like kill for Appleton, or maybe he would try to recover off of that damage? I don't know. I don't know exactly what the plan was for Chait to do, especially on this turn. That absolutely not mattered. Maybe it didn't
If
matter. Maybe it didn't matter at all because Magneton was easily gonna outspeed it anyway and try to kill Zoroark. That would have been the end of it.
Yeah, thing is, Appleton was pretty crucial to Chate's game, so he kept trying to keep it as healthy as possible,
Which makes sense.
but that actually turned against him because it stopped him from taking advantage of some turns where he could have majorly boosted his momentum by killing Scyther.
Yeah, that's what my point is. Like maybe it was due to the fact that maybe a flash cannon from Magneton would easily kill Appleton. Maybe it was decided by a roll or whatnot, and then planning to keep it healthy as long as possible. Instead, going for the Draco Meteor, or if you're ballsy, an Apple Acid or something like that. But yeah, that's what I noticed. I want to see this discussion over here. Was the Appleton turns worth it? I say no.
I also say no because game discussion is like, we Draco here, and he recovers, and they're just like,
I
dot.
mean,
Dot.
On the turn, if Appleton goes for a Draco Meteor, then Magneton will come and crash Kiran and sweep.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
I
brought
mean,
up
I don't
earlier.
think it really mattered whether. I don't think it
I'm more.
really matters. Went for recover or.
Hmm.
I think the
I'm more
game was
so.
over. I think the game was over by that point, so it didn't really matter.
Well, yeah, probably.
So what were we about to say, PokeArt?
I was more so referring to earlier turns in which Scyther would be switching in on turns where Chait recovered.
Yeah, I mean, he did try to keep it. Also, the rocks damage really didn't matter help matters much. Also, the fact that he didn't have any rapid spinners or anything against to get rid of rocks to have it in a more safe position.
Well, Micoy, there's not a ton of good spinners in lower tiers.
Fog for that matter.
And
Nor a lot of that.
you didn't have any spinners. I think they got Komala in the tier tips. I think.
Well, that, but yeah,
Yeah,
overall,
and you got Komala this month.
yeah, overall, Zeri definitely looked the stronger player in this game. There was no two ways about it. But Jade could have won, at certain points. It just he didn't really foresaw that and didn't really take advantage of it. All right, next game. You saw Ryuji losing to Yes or No, My Dude. This is Yes or No, My Dude's first win, and it was against the man himself, the man called Ryuji. This one I really didn't have too much notes on compared to other games, but basically, Ryuji brought a really weird team, like super weird, and the fact that he terrored his ground Marini, it, was it the smartest play to have that?
I mean, look, who surfs against a Marini?
Only
Yes or
people
no,
with a
my
five
dude apparently does.
people with a five head move, and that's what Yes or No, My Dude did.
That's what you call a predict. That's what you call a predict.
That was a pretty good predict in the case of Yes or No, My Dude. Um, there were times, of course, where was did this Spite Ops didn't have any sticky web or something?
Uh,
I think I
I
think it would have massively benefited if it had sticky web. But then again, the Lilligant was heavy duty boots, so I guess that invalidates that. But still, at least get some
hold
perks or
on.
something.
Let me see if it had sticky web.
If it only had spikes, then okay, I could see. Then again, Vespiquen pretty common, and heavy duty boots is still a thing. Yeah. So not really much else to say about this game. Yes or no, my dude. Both sides played evenly, but yes or no, my dude clearly had the better end game. And yeah, and rock fighting also kind of just tears, I think.
Okay, I found the team. Oh, it didn't have sticky web.
Wow. Okay.
This was actually a more sort of offensive Spite Ops.
Yes, it did reveal U-turn, which okay, I could see it. So yeah, nothing much else to say about this game. Yes or no, my dude. Finally picking up a win.
At a time I didn't exactly want him to.
And now that he did, and it was against Ryuji. Ah well, not the case. Anyway, next game. Oh boy, we gotta talk about this shit show now, do we? Atrex Madara
Oh
versus
no.
versus the man, the only guest in our podcast that actually praises the fuck out of Gen 9 LC, Black Knight Gawain.
Oh, he praises it. No wonder he won. His brain is wired differently, as Pep says.
His brain did wire differently, and it absolutely like carried him into a decent eh win. But I'm like questioning about it too. First of all, the the Wind Rider set, the Wind Rider, absolutely predicting the Wind Rider at this point, uh, against Bramblin was very strong here. Zoroa was a pretty standout in the early games, dodging a power whip from the Bramblin, using Bitter Malice to kill the Surskit, which was very comfortable. Uh, which was a very comfortable win there. And then, of course, there's the MVP of this game, which was the Wingle Life Orb, to say the least. Substitute, Hurricane, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, whatever. It just basically outpredicted a lot of Atrox's mons, and in the end, Gawain ended up picking the win after the Surskit up and up and swept with the against the Numble and the Crabrawler, which was a very strong move from Gawain. It was an interesting move, but it was a unique win. Overall, kind of a dumb game between both players, but hey, it's a win.
Yep. Also,
So yeah, Gawain ended up winning in a kind of a crappy game, but hey, that's Mons for ya.
yeah, that is unfortunately Mons for ya. When someone like when BKG can win a game, that's Mons.
It
Pretty
hasn't been
cursed,
Mons
I
until
know.
now. It hasn't been Mons until now. How dare thee? All right, next game. We got the Iron Bundless. No, the Iron Bundles. It is an Iron Bundle. Well, there's an Iron Bundle on the opposing team because it's the Cheesin' One versus Fan Game 10.
Ah, man. If Sublime, he's not here to experience this slaughtering of his teammate.
Oh well. Um, yeah, Cheese. He probably is better off not knowing what his teammate has done because his teammate brought an Iron Bundle and didn't use it to his full advantage. All right. Chi spent the early turns of this game not letting the Farigiraf set up the Trick Room via taunt and a whirlwind, respectively. So that felt kind of off. Speaking of that Iron Bundle,
Yeah.
speaking of that Iron Bundle, though, did feel kind of useless in this game. Really only there to really encore the Snarl Arcanine and Whirlwind Iron Hands, which led to Arcanine just basically taking advantage of it and overheating it for the kill.
Yep. Not that really mattered a ton.
Yeah, especially.
Wait. That crit, right? It was an overheat crit, right?
Was it a crit?
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a crit.
Because it. Oh yeah,
Not
because
that it mattered, though.
yeah, not that it mattered. Iron bundles are technically frail. You're frail and delicate, PokeArt. Your team is. um.
Yeah, but like, what I mean is that even if it didn't actually die, even if it tried attacking the Arcanine, wouldn't have worked.
Not really. Yeah, not really.
We use some pretty interesting tech, let's just say. I'm not even referring to a Terra.
Wait, what were you
Do
talking
you
about?
want to know what I'm referring to?
What were you referring
I'm
to?
saying, I'm saying, even if the Arcanine didn't kill the Iron Bundle, it didn't really matter.
Because he had something in the back, huh?
No, because the Arcanine wouldn't have died to the Iron Bundle.
Oh, okay.
Of course, light screen was up, but you want to know what else?
What else?
Pasho Berry.
Oh, it's wow. Okay, she's actually prepared that. Thanks, Paso Berry Arcanine.
Yeah, which, as some of you may know, or some of you may need a reminder, it has super effective water damage.
Oh man. Well, maybe that wasn't the point of Iron Bundle though. Maybe it was just there to support. It did have Encore.
Well, no, it's there to both support by being extremely fast, but also killing things extremely fast.
And Fangame brought that with a Trick Room team. Lol.
Well, Micoy, it's Frostier Fan Room. It's Frostier Fan Room, Micoy. What are you talking about? That's always how it's been.
Oh, Frost Your Fan Room. Okay. I didn't know the name of that until now. Until now that I see it. So, yeah, Cheese would have 6 0'd if Fangame didn't forfeit. It was just a very strong.
Yeah,
It was just a very strong played game by Cheese.
with double snarl coming off with double snarl with Tinglu and Arcanine, I think it was Whirlwind from the Tinglu, Stealth Rocks, yeah, like all of these, as well as like Light Screen and there was a lot of very interesting uncommon techs in this team. Obviously, because come on, we all knew what Fangame was going to bring.
The same damn team every single time. He didn't disappoint though.
And you see, the team is public. So we knew set for set, basically.
It's easy to see team.
Yeah, so Cheese went wild and built this C team. And
What?
in tests, while I was winning at first, yeah, he started clobbering me with that. It was just so one-sided for after a while. And we're like, yes,
I
we've
wanted.
we've perfected the Frostier fan room counter team. We've done it.
I really want to see Fangame actually win with this team in one of these weeks. Put that in the BLT bingo sheet. Why not?
Nah, because I don't see it happening.
I do. It's gonna be really funny. All right, next up, Felines beating Azik. What happened? What was this team? What was this team Azik was cooking?
Well, you see, I think Felines cooked a little harder this week.
First off, this was the first game that brought the Kilowattrel Endeavor Sash strat. Using it to beat Barrascuda, which who could have been Azek's real win con, but unfortunately that wasn't to be the case. Now, Greninja having Ice Beam, not having.
Yeah, I see.
Hmm?
Felines had a good MU into Azek's Rain.
You could say that, yeah.
D-Dance, D-Knight, the Sash, Kilowattrel. It is not a good MU, and it is. Rain does not have a good MU into that. Those techs are really good into Rain.
Well, not only that, but like, what was this Greninja set? No water moves, Greninja or something, and Quaquaval having Surf.
Well, when a Greninja runs Protean, do you really need Water Move?
Isn't Protean banned?
Why am I paying? Is someone playing? No. Okay, I got scared.
Okay, so yeah.
It's just someone bringing me for prep. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, the Quackavel carrying Surf against the D Knight. That just basically ruins the day, and then boom, D Knight ended up sweeping towards the end of the game. So yeah, D Knight ended up winning.
What can I say?
Hmm?
What can I say? Isaac cooked, but Felines outcooked and brought something that tasted much better than Isaac's cooking.
Speaking and yeah, don't outcook the cook. You will get Sanji. And finally,
What?
I'm kidding. The
This
One Piece,
isn't a One Piece reference.
the One
Please,
Piece is
Micoy.
real.
No,
All right,
can't. This is bugs.
final.
I just wanna say, the Greninja was meant to be Protean, but it was Torrent by accident. That didn't
Ah,
help.
well. Ah,
See,
well.
Torrent is of course useless when you don't have a water move.
I
It was
think
choice specs, but welp,
was it Protean banned or no?
no,
Oh,
it wasn't.
why isn't it banned? Or Libero for that matter. Final sit. We got the Anastar Articunos losing to the Phantom Trout. So yes, Pod, being on the Micoy video means that your team is losing by default.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't apply to all games exactly, but guess it applies to your team though.
Ha ha.
Also, I did say it like before the tour even started that Pote teams tend to not do well.
Yikes.
I think that's starting to unfortunately become reality
So
again.
you were the original Jinx. Okay. First game.
Yes, I was. All of your games will be losses. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All your base are belong to us. Alright. First off, we got Lax versus Elrog in SVOU. Uh turn one. This started off pretty interesting because turn one had the Will-O-Wisp Cinderace going to the Iron Valiant, which I believe that thing is physical. It's a physical Iron Valiant.
Well, was it? Did it get to reveal it?
It did reveal knockoff, and it did kind of significant damage to Cinderace.
Then it's probably physical.
I mean, not much else to say afterwards about this game. It was basically Lax outplaying Elrog at every point in this game with stall.
And outstalling.
There was a myth. There was a myth that happened. That's it consequential. Anyway, the Terra Fairy Blissey was a particular highlight. It Terra Fairy Blissey just out just out out and out just walled the Glaive Rush coming in from the back Excalibur. Dondozo also getting to do hits against the Rest Talk, getting to do tanking good hits with the Rest Talk. Corvair working well in the end game. It was just Lax outplaying Elrog 100%.
You know what I've realized?
What? What did you realize, woman?
Micoy? Oh. So what I've realized is that whether it's a hyper offense team or it's a stall team, either way, there's a great Tusk.
There is a Great Tusk. Great Tusk is just that good.
I'm not I'm not referring to Elrog's team, by the way. That's more of a bulky offense balance type.
Yeah, and yeah, Great Tusk is everywhere because Great Tusk is just that damn good, okay?
Great Tusk is Lando T. It's Lando Tusk.
It's a Lando Tusk without the intimidate. It's only intimidating because it's a mammoth, a woolly mammoth. All right. Next game.
Are
Shiloh.
you? That's mammoth swine.
It's a woolly tusk. Uh,
I'm,
next.
I'm kidding. I guess Tusk is closer to a woolly mammoth.
Except spikier. Anyway, next up we got Shiloh versus Ender in OU. This was a weird team. Like, bro, who brings Zorua, Hisui, and Mousehold into OU?
Well, there's certainly been a number of games that have Mousehold,
Yes,
and
Hisui has Mousehold.
Hisuian's work kind of appears every so often in HO, which, looking at Shiloh's team, that very much is HO.
Against Ender's almost as HOE as HO can be. That's Magnezone. What am I thinking?
Uh, looks more bulky offense, yeah, that's more bulky offense than HO.
So this game had Shiloh over predicting hard early on with King Gambit. Um, for example, going for the low kick against the Toxapex. Trying to sucker punch it against the Great Tusk. He went hard with the over predicts early on. Also getting his Zoro arc like chipped to shreds. It was just a big over predicting gamble for Shiloh really early on into the match.
Can we also talk about the Magnezone set that Ender brought?
Yeah, it was a weird Magnezone set, wasn't it?
It was well, actually, I haven't really seen Magnezone used all that like a ton in Gen 9 competitive in general, especially not OU. So I don't know if that's actually a weird set, as in uncommon, because the Mon itself is just uncommon.
Yeah. Also,
But I do think it's definitely a bit unusual. That's not really what I would expect it to run.
Rocky Helmet discharge body press. Yeah, it was definitely uncommon. Um,
Iron defense, right? Did it have iron defense?
they didn't reveal it, but I would assume it had. Anyway, there were
Let's see.
there.
Yeah, yeah, it didn't reveal anything, so who knows?
So yeah, this was there. There were a couple of moments that had me jumping for joy. Like for example, the out predicting against the Iron Moth with Hydreigon was kind of cool. First, Psychic, brushing off the Psychic because of its Dark typing, and then brushing off the Dazzling Gleam because it's Terra Steel, then ultimately killed uh, Iron Moth. Endgame saw the Shiloh
Yeah,
get.
that was well played.
Hmm?
I said, yeah, that was well played. Going back to what you said about the Hydreigon stuff.
Yeah. There were a couple of moments, of course, like for example, the Toxapex uh, getting a lucky poison on Shiloh's Iron Valiant to kill it. There was, of course, the population bomb that killed more of Mousehold than it did Magnezone. And then,
Yeah, that was funny. It just hit the thing 7 times and died before Magnezone.
and yeah, because of Rocky Helmet. Rocky Helmet is the perfect counter to any Mousehold, ladies and gentlemen. That is a thing. That is a
It
thing.
makes me wonder, did Ender see a Mousehold coming?
Maybe, maybe he would have guessed it because not a lot of people. Maybe not a lot of people run. Maybe Shiloh's just one of those few players that actually likes to bring like Mousehold into OU. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, next game. Oh, this game. Ugh, I don't want to talk about this game. Mashing versus Aberforth.
Ugh.
So, this game had one really. Said this game had one really stupid play. Aberforth hard switching his Flutter Mane against an attacking Hatterene, ending up Psy-shocking it to absolute kill.
Yeah.
It was
And though Aberforth said that wow, you actually have investment in your Hatterene. No, I don't think it actually needed investment to kill with Psyshock. Fluttermane's just frail as frick.
Frail's friggin' the physical
Unless
side.
that was an invested Fluttermane, I don't know.
If it was, then wow. Then it would make sense to invest in special attack against the Hatterene. But now, normally, Fluttermane just dies to a Psyshock Hatterene. And yeah, Aberforth lost all momentum by that point.
Yeah, I did the calc, and by that range, it still killed even with 0 SBA.
Yeah, and yeah, the rest of this game, this was just a big turn off match for me because the rest of the game saw Aberforth just not getting any purchase, just not playing well against mashing. It was definitely a hard fight. It was definitely a hard fight for Aberforth, and if he had kept his Fluttermane healthy, he would have won handily, actually. But like, no, that wasn't the case. Anyway, aside from that crapshoot, next up we got Rashay versus Avarice. Now, Iron Jugulus was sent out way too early in the beginning parts of this game, and Hippowdon absolutely surviving on one in like the first few turns. That was cool. That was a good strat. Hopefully we get to. There were parts of this game where I'm like, there was a significant portion of this game that was dedicated to a Terrafire Scizor, which looked kind of threatening. Talonflame tried to wall it basically with Bulk Up. Remember that set?
The bulk of Talonflame, was unexpected.
I think its sole purpose is to try to wall against this particular Scizor. Like, this was uncommon to say the least. But there was a crit bullet punch that happened, which was really unfortunate, as Talonflame would have easily out bulked up the Scizor afterwards, right?
Hold on, what game are we on? That was an unfortunate crit, but Shay was ahead in the game anyways.
It was. And, Avarice got a lucky break. Having that bullet punch absolutely, like, he tried. But yeah, Riche was ahead for most of this game. After the set Terrifier Scizor was gone, basically he had like the rest of the remaining Mons. Cyclozar was gone, so he didn't have to care about Rapid Spin. And then towards the end, we saw the Slowbro. That proved to be kind of an unkillable wall.
Yeah. Slowbro be like that sometimes.
And especially against three.
Especially when it tears and loses its weaknesses.
Yeah, it just became Terra Fairy and just absolutely walled the rest of It's not even Calm Mind Slowbro. As Riche pointed out, it's not Calm Mind Slowbro. It's just a regular ass defensive Slowbro. So
yeah, it seems like it.
So yeah, Riche.
We don't know what its last move was, but yeah.
Yeah, Riche picking up a very good win there. Next up, we got Danny versus Reginald, and this one was a curb stomp. This was a complete.
Yeah, as expected.
This one had a very ground weak team against Mudsdale. Um, Mudsdale was MVP of this game. This was no shocker. Really the only counter was Rotamo, and if that doesn't get you anywhere, what else will? And yeah, heavy slam for Sylveon, the ground for everything else. It was just a domination by Danny. Reverend kind of finished off the at the end there. Nothing much else to say.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Crying versus Axertix. Okay, this game was weird.
Didn't expect to see a crying loss that week, but we did.
But what's even weirder is that look at the teams that they brought. Crying bringing something very unusual for NU standards. I thought this was a legit PU team that they brought.
No, these are all Inhumans to my knowledge.
Even Lurantis? This got bumped to NU standards?
What?
Lurantis?
Is that NU? I've seen it a fair amount of times in the tier. It's NU, right?
I think it is. I don't know. Maybe I have to recheck on that one. But yeah,
DT Laurentis. It's NU.
wow, okay. But yeah, again, a very unusual team by Crying. I thought they brought PU, but instead it's NU. Turn one.
I don't understand why you're saying this about Crying when Axertix brought two PU Mons. Literally.
He actually did. Like Charizard, no, not Charizard. Hatram and Scyther.
What, not Charizard?
Is Charizard PU?
What do you... Yeah,
Bro.
yes, that's literally what I meant, Micoy. Charizard is PU. And what do you mean Scyther? Scyther's NU.
Bro, what? Okay. I'm getting my tiers mixed up now. What the hell?
It's Hatcham and it's Hatcham and Charizard he brought that are PU.
So the guy that actually brought PU Mons actually won this game. So turn one, you saw the crit on the Brown Birdier. That was an unfortunate sign for Crying. Okay. Physical Zoroark against a Rattle the Dunsparce. That was just amazing tech. Wouldn't you say?
Is Rattle typical for it? I would think it is.
No. Most people would run Serene Grace.
No, I think they would run Serene Grace if it's physical. If special, Rattled.
Oh, wow, okay. You learn something new
Because,
every day.
like, Serene Grace, you run Body Press, right?
Not body press, body slam, you mean.
Yeah, I misspoke. Body Slam.
But yeah, I guess that would be the case. But the real MVP though was the aforementioned Charizard, who just kind of had an easy time with the matchup, especially against the Terra Electric Lurantis, which is an odd type Terra there, buddy.
What do you mean? That's standard, man.
How is that standard?
That is completely standard. That's just what Lurantis runs for its Terra.
Why?
Because it Terra Electrics and then it Terra Blast.
Why electric? Fine, okay.
Because, like, Scyther.
Charizard, I bet.
No, not Charizard. That's a PUmon.
Okay.
I think it's primarily for Scyther.
Okay. Actor Six picking
And maybe Bombardier.
Maybe. Okay, that's a huge maybe in a nutshell. Yeah, actually, it's picking up a solid win there. Next up,
With the Specs Charizard.
yeah, Specs Charizard with flamethrower and Fire Blast. Very nice. A very nice set there.
Yeah, like that thing actually teared through Crying's team
Very much so.
without any difficulty.
Very
Crying
much
didn't have any switch-ins to it.
unfortunately so. Next up is PU. We got Los Shoto versus Lechen. Now, this game actually started off pretty well for Lechen because at the early goings of this game, Lechen actually tried to match up well against Losco. For example, the switch in with the well baked body because he brought Dash Bun, taking the pyro hits very well, putting it to sleep, and then sub Doug Trio working well against Miss Magis, Miss Drevis actually. Yeah.
Imagine if Miss Magius was in PU.
No, no. Let it stay in RU, please. Um, Losco did better though once Terra Grass Pyro was revealed, and Golduck absolutely just shutting down Glaceon with the freeze dry, disabling it. Um, Doug Trio ended up missing a rock slide towards the end, and then Pyro ultimately swept with Terra Grass and then Fire Blast. Very, very common after Dashbun was dead. It basically was hell for leather for good old um Losco. And Losco picked up a decisive W after that. Very good.
Yeah, I don't think anyone doubted Losco in this matchup.
Next up is Gorex versus Ace Hunter in LC. So Ace Hunter actually dominated
I'm
this.
a little disappointed in how Ace Hunter played this, not gonna lie.
But credit where credit is due for Ace Hunter, PokeArt, because they actually dominated like the first parts of this game, like using the Terra Fire Brawler to full effect here. Um, just avoiding the Zorua Will-O-Wisp and using it to great effect. Terra Steel Mudbray for Gorax was an interesting pick. I really like the idea of that particular thing because it allows it to shut down basically anything that it was losing with, you know? Like for example an ice punch, uh Brawler or something like that. Or even a Bramblin. It's a pretty effective wall against Bramblin to say the least. And in the end, as you said, there was the massive choke of, you know, Gothita tricked the Scarf against the Mudbray, who was attacking that turn and was using Heavy Slam. Right?
Repeat what you said?
So yeah, Gothita tricked the the Scarf on the Mudbray, who was attacking that turn and was using Heavy Slam in order to, sweep the hell out of Ace Hunter.
Yeah. Also, is it me or did Ace Hunter kinda waste his Terra?
Yeah, I mean, okay. The beginning part, Terra Fire was cool, but like, what else would he have gone to? Like, what kind of Terra would benefit Ace Hunter better?
Well, actually, I guess the timing of the Terra was good. It just didn't help him win long run.
Yeah, if he had kept the Brawler like towards the long game, then Ace Hunter would have won. But that again, just wasting that particular mon just helped you not be able to create the right choices, and ultimately in the end, Ace Hunter again kind of choked this one out, and Gorex took W, comfortable W.
Yeah, and when initially watching this game, I was just like, why didn't he Terra fighting the Gothita and sweep? Yeah, I guess I was tired. I didn't realize he Terra'd already.
He did. He
And
could have
this
kept it
was
at
the
the end.
Moni Terra'd.
Yeah, he could have kept it at the end. He could have kept the Crabrawler, the still Terran Crabrawler healthy enough to win. Yeah, that's a total win con. That is a total win con. All right, second to last game, penultimate game. We saw the Faye versus Akaru Kokyo. Again, very VGC team for Fayette, but for Akaru, he brought a Murkrow.
Yeah, that was pretty VGC a few months ago.
A few months ago. A few months ago. Not now. No one brings Murkrow now. Yeah, this game had a strong start. Sylveon just immediately out the wazoo, just hyper voicing and OHKOing both Shiyu and Dragapult at the start of this game. And then of course you got the Terrifier Garchomp, which became a major threat later. Swords Dance plus Earthquake, and even breaking through his own partner's sub for the double knockout against, the Amoonguss and the Sylveon later. In the end, though, we saw Fayette absolutely having the better end game. The even the Murkrow didn't do as much. And yes, why is Orthworm here? Didn't really. Orthworm really didn't really help in the matters in the long run. And then towards the end, you saw
It shed tail.
but
It shed tailed. That's what it was here for.
but it wasn't. But after one shed tail, you'd think to sack it. I guess that was the plan. But still, Fayette won easily. There was no two ways about it. Also, a nice brick break instead of
I'd say easily, but yeah, Sylveon did go a little wild.
Sylveon is just one of the best mons in this meta, doubles or VGC. Also, nice.
I don't know about VGC. I don't see it very much in VGC.
Well, it should be used more. Also, a nice brick break on the Great Tusk, other than close combat. It's just nice. It's just nice to have.
It's for screens.
Yeah, it's just nice to have someone break screens for once. And final game we're gonna talk about is Royal Reloaded versus Dunox. Oh boy. Dunox really looked like the stronger team. I really like the dark team here against Royal Reloaded's more traditional ass ground team. There were a couple of moments here that really surprised us. Like for example, the Iron Shreds living just enough to do rapid spin, making it easier for Royal Reloaded to switch in Mons when Tinglu died. It was a very effective win there, but towards the end, the game itself was unspectacular. Both players are kind of just not playing aggressively, but also not playing, not playing passively. It was just a game between these two. Ultimately, it was the Quagsire who ended up poisoning both Lokix and Qianpao, outstalling Dunox, giving Royal Reloaded a major W against a tough player like Dunox. Even though
Who's unfortunately not been doing so well.
unfortunately so, like he could have won this game and tried to earn some points, but no. The fact of the matter is, like if he had chose to get rid of Clodsire and Quagsire pretty easily, it would have absolutely won this game. But no, Royal Reloaded just kind of predicted that and went for Quagsire and had it poison the crap out of all of Mons. So yeah, good showing for Royal.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dunox just could not break the Quag.
And the Claude, but mostly the Quag.
Yes, the Quag, specifically the Quag.
So that is the review portion taking out of it. Now we're going to review the predictions championship. And guys, let me tell ya, we have a brand new predictions champion in the form of Micoy. For 3 straight weeks, PokeArt, you've defended your belt. But now it's my turn.
Yeah, okay. It was a close race. Micoy had 26 total right predicts last week. I had 24. Pote had 22.
So I am the new champion, and I will defend this title until the end of BLT, unless our special guest wins it.
Yeah.
We
All
have
right.
a pretty formidable new special guest.
Well, you guys have been predicting against me, so I would say that. But
All right. So actually, before we get into predictions, let's take a look at the record sheet because the record sheet.
Hey, we gotta introduce our special guest.
Oh, that's right.
This
Hello,
isn't so
welcome,
long
welcome,
like
Pappy.
originally promised.
All right, welcome Papillon to the chat, everybody.
yo.
Yep. Glad to have you, Wesh Papillon.
No worries. I'm just looking at this week, and it looks pretty exciting. I think the main matchup I'm looking at is the bottom one, Troops versus Snorlax. I think if they lose, they're out. So that's going to be a fun one to viewer.
Meanwhile, Vicious versus Bundles is also a pretty good one because it's a battle between third and fourth.
Well,
yeah. Also, there's the bottom 5 teams are all at 5 points, but the Troops and the Snorlaxes are the only 3-point teams facing another 3-pointer. So, if any of these 3 points teams lose, they might be out.
Yeah,
this is a very major week.
Yeah, taking a look at, of course, the record sheet, since it is the middle of the week, we're gonna take a look at the record sheet real quick because this actually has a pretty good implications for what's to come in the final 3 weeks. As you can see here, the Primal Power Pangoros have 11 points. They're pretty much locked in, if I'm gonna be honest.
We have 7 points. We have a win-loss differential of 11.
Differential's 11.
Yeah,
7
Micoy.
points. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's already grounds for a lock-in, right?
I
mean, being first this late in the game, probably.
Yeah, probably is good enough, but
you're breaking.
A lot.
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
I don't hear you guys
much better.
Okay, so going back, again, the Pangoros having 7 points and actually being in the leading position right now. I think they're safe for pretty much week 5, week 6, maybe a little bit in week 7, but they could be threatened a bit if their playoff point, if they kind of like if their week 5 and 6 performances are a bit low, then they could be in trouble. But for now, I think they're safe.
Yeah. I think the Dirges are looking pretty solid as well. From what I've looked of their game, they've definitely looked like one of the stronger teams.
They haven't lost yet, so I'd say.
Yeah, the Dirges really surprised me because I ranked them initially as one of the lower teams because I wasn't really impressed.
I thought they were the best, honestly, from Go.
You ranked the Pangoros low too, Micoy.
Yeah, that's why that's why I'm actually pretty happy about that. The bottom 2 teams who I thought, maybe their week up is a little bit shaky. Maybe their roster is a little bit shaky. Maybe there's some potential slots that they could lose at a lot. But I'm very happy that the bottom 2, that originally my bottom 2 teams ended up being the top 2, which I'm pretty happy about.
Yeah.
And of course,
and then us Bundles are third, which isn't bad.
Yeah, again, I've expected that the Iron Bundles team is good, and the Dressrosa Dracovish is already showing how good they are.
So yeah, do you guys want to start looking into those games?
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! We're predicting now. All right. Well, the bottom four teams, they could easily have a shot if they have some good weeks in the coming week. So I'm pretty excited for
Yeah,
this.
I mean they're all tied at 3 points, so it's
If
just a
we
matter of
have, if
go ahead.
you go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I think if you're one of the bottom four teams, I think one of the things you're really looking for is strength of schedule. So if you're the Dressrosa Dracovish and your last 3 weeks are bundles, troops, and Pangoros, that's not ideals. If you have Dirges,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Articunos. They have like Pangoros, Rufflets, and Skeledirges. That's like a really tough late season schedule because you're facing off against teams that are that have like wind behind them.
It's
They have like momentum
really
going.
Just next week. Yikes.
good luck.
Yeah, so you'd really prefer to be like in this situation. You'd really prefer to be the Phantom Troops or like the Laxes if you win, because then you don't have the Pangoros or the Dirges. Those two teams really seem to be like ahead of the packs by one win at least.
True.
So
Facing the top two teams is
they're like,
hard.
yeah,
Anyway,
you want to avoid those
yeah.
if possible.
Anyway, let's start the predictions wars, people. Time for my first title defense. All right, first off, the Flame Slinger Skeledirges versus the Resort City Rufflets. Kind of an interesting pairing. Let's see what happens in the games proper. First off, SVOU, Trogba versus Sylveon Use Calm Mind.
Sylveon.
Trogba. The issue here is that they've kind of been slotted around, but I think this is an interesting pick from the Skeletor just to lock in. Like, I think their mindset was to fodder Trogba, kinda. I think they're gonna feed him some like super cheesy hyper offense, probably some type of screen or something, and try to get a win there. And relying on stronger fundamentals with Michael down in RU, where Trogba was seated, not seated, but placed last week.
Right.
So I think Sylveon is better, but in this new meta, I think just the power of having someone build you cheese might be good enough, honestly.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
It's hard to be consistent.
Yeah, that's right. This is the first week recorded since the introduction of Pokemon Home, so the meta's shaping up to be quite nicely.
I still think Sylveon is better, but it can be hard to, when you're a favorite player, to try to bring something safe into someone who's obviously just going to try to cheese you and then just try to hold on for dear life. It's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I'll go Sylveon anyways.
Yeah, I'll agree with all of you
I'm
guys.
also...
Yeah. Go on, PokeArt.
I said I'll also... So, I already said I'm going Sylveon.
Yeah, judging from Sylveon's performances over the past 4 weeks, I think Sylveon is easily the better player of the two. They have a 4-0. Actually, they are 4-0, aren't they? Right?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because both of these teams have a 4-0 OU slot, but they dodged each other. So.
Oh, that would be a fun matchup on the playoffs if they ever get to face off against each other. But for now, yeah, Sylveon Use Calm Mind is definitely going to go 5-0 in this one. Just a more impressive showing.
I don't know. You could anyone could lose to like some Volcarona type shit with screens.
Yeah,
I'm not putting
anything can happen.
Anything past.
Sylveon's been dodging all of these, so Sylveon has been defying expectations since week 1.
Yeah. Speaking of players that can use fat like consistently, I think my Java might be one of the stronger, just playstyle wise, like one of the people that can resist being cheesed the most. I don't see ACR1 like as a particularly cheesy player, but I think playstyle wise, my Java definitely wants to play this kind of like more aggressive opponent that will try to like rush you down, and then he's just gonna hold on for like a while until ACR1 eventually like burns themselves out. Is how I see it.
Okay, segueing nicely there. My Java versus ACR1. PokeArt, who do
Thank
you
you.
think?
I think my Java.
All
My
right.
job has been very impressive, to me at least.
Yeah, my job has been kicking ass in a lot of these performances. Either he could
Yeah,
bring.
what's his record right now?
For now. But ACR
Oh
one is
my
also
goodness.
pretty good. I just think my job has been very, very impressive, honestly. But like no disrespect to ACR one. I think you're good as well.
Yeah, I think my job has been consistently kicking ass in these performances, and I would be hard pressed to go with them as well. As ACR1 has been definitely doing decent, but I think my Java has been having the better performances in OU. So
Yeah.
so next up we got SV Ubers. Oh boy, I wish this was more hyped up. I really wish this was more hyped up as a
What do you
highlight
mean?
match because Fogbound Lake versus FC. I is
Yeah.
Fogbound. I think Fogbound Lake's negative right now. Is he?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's a pretty different meta. So
Right.
I'd
Right.
say everything we have up to now, like throw it out the window. Everything is irrelevant. This is a
Pre-home
completely
meta.
different tier.
Pre-home meta is out
Yeah,
there.
the Uber's meta changed
I
a
mean, if
lot.
you look at Fogbound Lake's games, he won versus Ender. This Uber pool is pretty strong, so being negative isn't the end of the world. But FC did kind of own my teammate. Not gonna lie, I don't want to put him on blast, but
Oh,
that
FC
was
versus.
hard to watch. Anyways, uh, he lost to Genius from Hoenn and Richard Milplen, so it's kind of hard to say. I don't think he has any like bad losses, and he does
Yeah.
have good wins.
He has some interest. He has a kind of a weird mix in pre-home meta where he used to play like he used to play very the traditional Ubers meta that I noticed, but but in this new meta I would have liked to see a lot more like game changing performances. And against FC is a really tough opponent. I don't get me
He-
wrong, Fogbound Lake is good. Fogbound Lake can definitely kick ass in Ubers. But having trouble, and this is what I've been kind of noticing in the Ubers pool, there are going to be players who are going to be lost in the shuffle. Someone who is expected to perform really well end up underwhelming, and Fogbound Lake seems to fall in that trap. I hope he doesn't. I hope he
yeah.
doesn't with the new meta. So FC
So
is still a strong opponent. Still gonna go FC, but I won't be surprised if Fogbound Lake wins.
So one thing I want to mention here that you kind of touched on, I think when you say he was playing standard, I think Fogbound Lake literally used the same thing 3 times. So they definitely it wasn't the same team, but it was like the same concept.
Right,
So when I was
right.
prepping with Richard, we kind of had a really good idea of like what we wanted to prep into, and we got a really good matchup. And I think Hoenn, I don't really know the backstory behind her prep, but I assume it would be something similar.
Mm.
So I think having a fresh slate, like it gives them an opportunity to build something new and not get counter teamed again by
Oh boy.
someone just being super ready for what they want to do. So I think it might work in their advantage.
Yeah.
But
Um, never mind.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just thought you were done talking, so I wanted to say who I predict would win.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
FC.
How about you? How about you, Pap?
Yeah, I'll go for FC as well. I really like Fogbound Lake as a player because we used to team in when I was in SCL, but
Mm.
or like as a sub. But I think he's a really good player when he actually prepares, and
Yeah.
his prep can be very good, but he hasn't shown that up to this point. I'm kind of hoping this new meta brings like new life into his team building.
Right, right, and
So
yeah,
I'm still gonna
hopefully
go
the
with
new
FC.
meta shapes up some of these players, and hopefully they get to build good teams that will actually carry them to winning games. So
Yeah.
yeah, FC to win, but we're rooting for Fogbound Lake here. Next up, SVUU, just Drew versus Udon Girl.
That's
This is
kind
a
of hype.
tough draw. No, I think it's a 4-0 slot against an 0-4 slot. So it's kind of an unfortunate.
I don't. Is Drew 4-0?
I think so.
Yeah. I
He's
think
been really
Drew
good.
never lost.
Has he?
Let's see. Week 1.
The cheat says 4-0 here.
So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
W
he's
versus
4-0.
Unzipped Kroger, Slip, DJ Illuminati, Dugza, and
Now
looking to
Udon
face
Girl.
down Udon Girl this week. And while Udon Girl lost to Shiba, TMM, Rash, and Madaya, and is facing Just Rude this week. So I think one thing that I've noticed when like I was like looking up for this is that Udon Girl used to be like super off the charts with like their team building, where they use really unorthodox set. But I feel like in the metagame transition, they kind of lost that aspect, and they don't have like the
That's exactly
like the raw playing isn't as good as some of these other players. So the team building aspect really was like their signature, and they kind of don't have a signature building style anymore. Like they don't have the Toga Kisses and I forgot what other Pokemon. I remember Toga Kiss.
They
Really like
transitioned out
Salamence.
yeah, they transitioned out of the choice lock, just the standard choice mons only signature style that they had to much more.
Yeah, but that worked. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I still think they're a good player, but I feel like they've lost part of their identity in the transition.
I think transitioning into the more traditional UU playing style has really hampered Udon Girl a little bit. But credit where credit
I
is
feel
due.
like over
at least
time,
in SS, like she's done well. It's just SV that she's particularly like having a little bit of a ceiling.
It's kind of an identity crisis. It's kind of like like I get it. Like I've gone through it as well. So no disrespect, but I feel like it's kind of hard to like, because when you're really known as like a signature builder, it's kind of hard to keep up with these metas, because when it's hard to consistently be creative and solid in your builds when the meta changes every 2 weeks.
I agree.
So for players that are mostly good builders or like creative builders, this kind of format with like multiple tier shifts is just not super like conducive to good results. Yeah. I think Drew's going to win, by the way, if it wasn't clear.
Okay.
That was pretty clear. I also think Drew's going to win, and I would like to say I completely agree with what Pap said. It's true. Usually I feel Udon Girl was more unpredictable, but I did the scouting for TMM in the week they faced, and we had a very good idea of what to bring. It was a little more. It was definitely more predictable.
Udon Girl has fallen into the trap of just playing the normal UU style as definitely it's kind of.
I don't know if there's an off trial, like an off the wall style to be had though. It might be just a meta issue.
Yeah,
I think
it's
so
clearly Udon Girl really needs to be more creative in terms of the meta once again. Just really find that niche again.
Yeah, maybe just switch tiers. If UU isn't it, like I know I'm serious. Like if UU just doesn't suit your strong suit, you don't have to stick to it. Yeah. She might be better in another tier. I'm just saying, but I mean, obviously she still is good. I'm just saying.
And she's been doing a lot of UU this gen.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's unfortunate to see it as someone who builds all of their teams as well. Like I know how frustrating it is for people like her.
Yeah. So we all think Drew is going to win, but Udon Girl, if you want to step it up, just find that building style once again.
Bring something insane and win, Udon Girl. Get your win.
Good advice.
Although I'm still predicting Drew.
Not legal advice.
We're all predicting Drew, but Udon Girl, bring back that Reggie Steel set. Why not? SV.
Oh my lord, is that even legal? Is Reggie Steel legal?
No, it is
Yeah,
not.
that's what I thought.
Yeah. SVRU, we got Michael their best versus Plaz. A dark horse highlight match, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think Michael just wins though.
Class has not really been doing too well. I don't know if they're like motivated or like if they practice too much. Are you? But it's looked tough. Not gonna lie.
I just think their Plaz has fallen into the trap of just getting harder and harder opponents every single week. You got Just Franco one week, you got Ars9 the other week, and now you're facing Michael.
Yeah,
So yeah, Plaz is
it
definitely
it's
hampered.
tough.
So yeah, Plaz is gonna have to like really kick in if he wants to win games. In order to be one of the most well versatile all around players of all time in Michael their best. Yeah, I think this is a Michael win, but we're rooting for your Plaz.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I don't
going
really
Michael
care
too.
who wins. I just think Michael will win.
Yeah, me too. Unfortunately, I like Class a lot because we're both like used to BLC mains, but I don't think this is the week to win.
Plaz is cool. Michael is also cool though. I've been on teams with both
Yeah,
of them before.
Okay,
yeah, that's all I have to say.
SVNU. We got Toki versus Piyush.
So this is an interesting case of a tier that wasn't affected by home, but still got kind of fucked over by tier shifts. I don't know if you guys saw, but they lost the two U-turn
Zoror
Pokemon. They
Zero,
lost
yeah.
Zork and they
and
lost
Bassini.
Pass. So it's kind of going to be hard to build for more aggressive style of players. I don't think uh, Toki is pretty versatile as a builder in general, so I don't think it's going to be too hard for them to adapt to it.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be interesting because in new metas, you can always like when a team style that used to be dominating just doesn't exist anymore, it can be kind of hard to find a team that flows again. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do. They might go like a bit slower because they don't really have safe ways to bring stuff in. They might use more like slower pivots. So I'm really interesting to see, especially Taki's NU builds. But yeah, Piyush I haven't seen play NU too much. No, that's not true. They destroyed my teammate last week, but it was a pretty standard game. But I think Taki is really solid in general, so I'll predict them to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Toki should be better in this tier. And also, well, it's true NU did lose. It's like perhaps two most common offensive options. Maybe this will cause the fish to rise in usage again. If
God, not
that's
yet.
still in.
Not that
I
fish.
like the fish.
Not that fish. That fish
You know the fish.
destroys. That fish destroys. Please don't bring that fish. Please keep it banned. Keep it banned. Yeah, I think both players are genuinely are it's an interesting case for both these guys. Taki, of course, the more well defined NU player. Piyush got a clean break last week after so this is going to be interesting. We're all in favorment though of predicting Toki. I think Toki's going to easily
Yeah,
I think Toki's going to easily win
I
here.
think she's yeah.
Piyush needs to find something in order to really try to beat Toki. Like really try to prep against him.
Yeah, I'm curious to see these post home NU games without Zorork and Passimian because like those are kind of staples.
The two most well defined mons in NU just gone.
Yeah.
SVPU. Now, this is a matchup I can confidently say is a highlight and a half. TLNet versus Tenebrisite.
You guys can go first. I have a lot to say about this.
So, PokeArt, who do you predict?
You go first, Micoy.
I think both are. I think TLNet's positive, right? I'm pretty sure Tudon is positive. I know Tenebrisite.
Yes.
Telenet, I think they are both positive. Telenet has. I think they're both 3-1 actually.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
see.
Yeah, they're both 3-1.
Planet lost week 1, 1 week 2, 1 week
Yeah.
3, and 1 week. Yeah, 3-1.
Lost to Danny and won the other 3 weeks. And Tenebrasit won his first 3 weeks and then lost his 4th week.
Yep. Against you actually. So
Yeah.
So of course.
So
PokeArt, who do you think?
Very tough. I think maybe Telenet though.
I'm going the opposite. I'm going Tenebrasite. So, Pat, give us your spiel.
So having played both of these, I think Tenebrasit is more he's more like consistently safe in his approach, whereas Telenet is more like aggressively trying to bring off the like unorthodox options. I think off of like styles and what I got, I think Telenet is the kind of player that definitely prefers to play orthodox players, and Tenebrasite is also a player that likes to match up against more like typical players. So I think playstyle wise, this is Telenet's in like his in his zone, because he's playing unorthodox teams against orthodox players all the time. That's like his moneymaker, right? So that's kind of like what I'm thinking, is that at matchup, I think Tenebrasite is a slightly like more. I don't want to say better player, but his in game has proven to be like very solid. He's not very prone to making mistakes, but Telenet is like more of a prep and more of a builder. So he probably will get a better matchup, which is what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna go with Telenet on this one. Okay. And off like other than that, I also lost to Telenet and beat Tenebrasite, so that's maybe why I'm biased here. But it's just how I think of it.
Your matchup against Telenet though was definitely something to watch. Oof.
So I don't. Yeah, I mean it's not really the right, but I can talk about those two games. But I think prep wise, Telenet was definitely building wise like a bit more like unpredictable. But that's not really where I went wrong. But whatever.
See, I told you, PokeArt. Telenet brings crazy teams when he actually preps.
Well,
I think he
yes.
been prepping pretty well for the most part, except week 1. I don't really know what happened there, but
it's just finding your footing.
He kind of just picked and plays. Yeah, he kind of just picked and played from what I saw. But yeah, I think his moving forward, he got a lot like more experience. Not more experience, but he kind of find his footing in the meta, which makes sense.
Yeah. That
Anyways, yeah.
All right.
What I have to say about that.
Next up, SVLC rematch from LC Winter Seasonal incoming. We got Greedy EB versus Hacker, part 2.
Oh.
So I'm actually friends with both of these guys, so I'll go last as well because I do have a lot to say about them.
All right, PokeArt, who do you think?
I'm gonna say Hacker.
You gonna go Hacker again? I think this will be Greedy EB's redemption arc. So I think Greedy EB, comparatively speaking, both these players are very right now, I would say both are even, but I think Greedy EB will get his redemption arc here. So I'm going them. I won't be surprised if Hacker wins.
So Hacker is 2-2, and Greedy is, I think, 1-3. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Hacker also had, I would say, no, they had about similar schedules. But so from what I've gathered, this new meta is also super janky, but Hacker has looked pretty good at it. I haven't seen what Greedy has been like playing much. I mean, they're both going to bring Growlithe Hisui. I think that's a given. but
yeah,
might
that seems broken
it
as
might
frick.
I
come down to
know.
like a speed tie or something, which is like. But I think in general, Hacker is better at like piloting. I think in terms of team building, they're both like in terms of prep. Greedy definitely is not someone who preps alone, but overall, like the teams he's been bringing have been good, but he's more prone to making mistakes in game. And when you have like super punishing Pokemon, like Growlithe, sometimes like one mistake can like snowball over into your whole team getting head smashed and just
Yeah,
you
this
lose.
is definitely evident in the
So
case of Greedy's games over the past, like, I'd say 2 weeks, because Greedy has been playing solid. It's just that he's prone to making a little bit of mistakes that could end up costing the game.
yeah, but I think it's pretty normal. Like he is newer than most players,
Oh yeah,
so I think he is like improving. It's just kind of a style uh answer as well. Like other players that are more wacky options, like Ace Hunter, like he's shown that he can hang with those types of player.
yep.
And like even with LokiFan, like he was really close to that. But I think more orthodox players like Hacker might give him like more of an issue because they're just not going to make any mistakes in their pathing.
Mm. Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. That's kind of that's good. Kind of one of the things. I think I hope both these players I hope Greedy especially finds his footing, especially after a rough patch that he's going through, and gets a redemption arc against Hacker. But yeah, the Hacker is definitely a tough opponent. I would not be surprised if he wins. All right, next up, SVDOU. We got Sanjay Das versus Aragon.
I'll be honest. I kind of
Oh.
tune out double OU in Monotype games, so I won't. I won't
But who
really
are
make
you
any great calls
predicting,
on
Pap?
these.
Who are you predicting?
I'll go with Aragon because they beat my teammate.
All right, so PokeArt.
All I have to say about that.
I think I'm also going Aragon. I'm aware it's cool that we're seeing Sanjay Das play for the first time, but tough first opponent, I guess. Aragon's been doing well.
Aragon's
What's
been doing
Aragon's
very
record
decent.
right now?
Aragon's been doing very decently in doubles. Like his doubles games are definitely worth watching.
3-0.
3-0.
3-0 record's definitely nothing to sneeze at. Sanjay Das is gonna have to put in the doubles work once again, and Aragon, a safe pick, but an expected pick. I think Aragon wins as well. Monotype, SV Monotype. We got Ceru versus TDR.
Okay, I have no calls on this one.
I'll go with Ceru.
I think Monotype is kind of sus, but I'll go with Sarah as well because we're teaming for a Monotype tournament, so I'm gonna hope he's good. So I'll vote for him.
Also, he's doing quite well right now.
I think he's.
I don't know. I don't really believe in Monotype, but
3-0. Is he 3-0, Pokemon?
Either that or
yeah,
I think
yes,
so.
he's 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, he's undefeated right now.
Holy crap!
Crazy, ain't that?
Ceru having a better record than. Okay, I won't go through that again. But again, Ceru's been doing amazingly in Monotype so far. TDR's first showing in Monotype. He is an established mono main. So don't sleep him on that. But Ceru's been overachieving this BLT. So it's easy to go for Ceru on this situation. TDR, it is Monotype, so anything can happen. But I believe Sarah's been proving himself that, yeah, we are confidently going with Sarah on this one.
Yeah, never thought I'd confidently go with Ceru on anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Monotype changes a person.
So next, I don't have anything else to say on these guys.
Next match up, we got Ice Path Iron Bundles versus the Dressrosa Dracovishes. Finally, a water on water battle.
No way, it's us.
No way, I know.
Well, let me look at these first two players' records. So Clean is
First up, SVOU, Chaitanya versus
I
he's
think
Ainscrad.
1-3. And
Yeah,
what
he
is
is always
Chai's
one
record?
win. Although Jade is winless.
Oh,
Ooh.
0-4, yeah. But however,
Ooh.
I hope pre-home meta changes things because I'm going with Chait on this one. Come on,
I'm
Chait.
going with Clean.
Oh,
I'm going Chait as well because
Yeah.
I think out of all the opponents Chait has faced, this will be the least hard one.
Yeah, you're right. He did get pretty tough opponents overall,
yeah.
but I don't know. I think I'll go with Clean.
pre-home, I thought Chait kind of sucked, to be honest. Like his games aren't like
Eh,
his plays aren't the best. Let's just say that.
Well, he doesn't prep.
I don't know. I haven't
That's a
really looked
problem.
into it
That's
that
a
much,
problem,
to
and I
be
hope
honest.
SVOU like post home meta changes that. And against Clean, I don't think he'll have. I don't think he'll have an easy time, but I think it'll be a pretty solid showing for him specifically. I want him to do good.
I mean, these OU pools games are pretty tough. Who did Clean lose to? Let me look.
Clean lost
Uh,
to a number of people.
Okay, he
Let's
lost to
see.
Piyush. He won against Shiloh. Lost against Star. Lost against Michael. That's not bad, for sure. Losing
Beating
against
Shiloh
Star
is
and Michael.
something.
You don't. Yeah, you don't look at someone losing to Star and Michael and being like, I don't know. I think overall, Clean is just more focused on prep. Overall, he's really like good at prepping. I think he's just had like unfortunate opponents, but especially in a new meta, I feel like he might be more in touch with it from just the vibes I get.
Don't worry, we'll force Chait to prep.
Yeah, good
All
luck.
right. I hope to see some Chait prep in this post home meta. SVOU, the other one. One Last Kiss versus Sword Strike.
Again, I haven't really been paying that much attention to OU. I've mostly been looking at lower tiers, but One Last Kiss, I've only seen them play one game, and they timed out.
Oh,
it was the only
that
game they
was
played.
last week.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's not a great look. They looked, for what it's worth, I think they were going to win.
They were gonna win. Literally
And then
had every
they
possible
forgot
answer to Excalibur in the back.
Anyways,
It was unlosable, actually.
I'm still going to go with One Last Kiss here over Sword Strike. Not
That
adding
is
to
very fair.
Sword Strike, but I just think One Last Kiss is overall like slightly more impressive of a player. But Sword Strike is good and older. I think they've shown to be really good in like old gens, but CG is like a different beast altogether. It's more janky. I feel like One Last Kiss might be better in that type of format.
Always said that One Last Kiss has always been good, and last week's meeting was very unfortunate, and I was left feeling angry. So I hope One Last Kiss doesn't time out this week and actually beats the living heck out of Sword Strike. I think One Last Kiss easily dominates here.
Yeah, One Last Kiss is really good. I believed it when Micoy said it. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, he's the curb stopping star!"
If they remember to click, but yeah, I think they're gonna win.
All right. Next up, SV Ubers. This already happened. Layson lost to Ainscrad. I would like to see that game later.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
I'm gonna see that game later, but who would we predicted?
Just kind of woke up and saw that's what happened.
Who would it
Yeah, I predicted Layson personally.
I'll go with Ainscrad.
Ooh, you're thinking the upset
Hey,
would happen, huh?
hey, we're talking honest predicts here, of as if the game didn't happen yet, sir.
Well, okay, let me see it this way. They're both. Yeah, Ainz was 3-1 and Leeson was 2-1. So yeah, he's 4-1. Well, he's 4-1 now.
Yeah,
but he was 3-1
It
with
was 3-1. I didn't.
his only loss was Aberforth.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah, that
Lassen's
was
only
true.
loss was also Aberforth. So it was kind of a coin flip, off of the results.
Interesting. I
True.
always thought Layson was the better player, so that's why I chose Layson.
Well,
Yeah, although the NU was actually kind of tough when you look at the game.
When we'll talk about the games and the ones that happened next week, but for now, this week, Ainscrad won. Congratulations. All right, SVUU highlight match: TMM versus Shiba.
Yeah, TMM is actually worried here.
I don't think they should be worried. I think overall they've been playing pretty well. From the games I've seen, the only game I've seen them lose was the Spitfire game that was really bad. But other than that, they've looked pretty solid.
Actually, there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but overall they've looked pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Shiba is undefeated, but only played 2 games. Their strengths of schedules are about the same. I feel like if we're just going off name brand, Shiba's better, but I wouldn't be surprised to see an upset here.
Me too. Like, both players have actually been very impressive. I think, aside from, who else is the other guy that is like one of the top UU players right now?
It was Drew.
Drew, yeah. Aside from Drew, I think these two are the top. I think these are the top players in the UU pool right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if TMM wins because he's definitely a great player. But off the name recognition and just because their games impressed me more, I think I'm going Shiba.
PokeArt, who are you going with?
Well, he's my own teammate, and our prep in UU is top tier.
Leak.
Believe.
I'll go with TMM as well, just for the upset.
All right.
Thank you. Your support is wise.
All right. PokeArt, I think you gave your prediction to TMM.
Well, yeah, I have to predict him every single time. I'm scouting for him.
All right, SVRU, the Franklin versus MJ. Boomers match.
So they both have similar strength of schedules, but MJ lost to Crying, which is a tough game. But I feel like Franklin is just in that category of player where he doesn't really drop random games or to players that aren't of LCL levels. So yeah, I think he's gonna win. It's just because it's the Franklin, really. I think he's really good.
See, you don't really predict against Arsenine. You just don't. Not in RU, anyways.
RU is
not in this pool at least.
It's a tough one, and
I think he's going undefeated.
MJ is gonna have to prep a hell of a lot before he gets to face Arsenine. So yeah, this is the tried and true Arsenine tier here. Arsenine to win. SVNU. We got Floor versus Irene 2002.
Not sure how this happened.
Irene has actually been pretty impressive, and I think it's in Slam, in the opens. They've been doing pretty well from what I've seen, and I just think they're better in general. Floor, I haven't seen them play since Gen 8. I haven't seen them play any Gen 9. So
you didn't even see them in quals?
I mean, that doesn't really count.
Oh, come on. If that doesn't count, then you're saying I've played no Gen 9, which I guess would be true then.
Yeah, that's not far off from what I'm saying. Ouch. But I haven't seen them play at all, which is concerning to me.
I saw them play plenty in quals.
Oh, you're going
but it's ruined to qualifications. Yeah, I'm going Irene for sure.
This one's.
I mean, I can't really blame you. I don't actually know how well my teammate knows this tier. I'm surprised they were slotted here.
I'm gonna go on a limb.
They literally volunteered to play this tier. I know it well.
What were you gonna say, Pat?
Well, Yeah, I'm gonna assume they have not played much RU at all, as one should.
This is NU.
Not a very good. Oh, whoops! I'm gonna say the exact same thing about NU. I think you, especially since it's a new tier. I'm guessing no one knows anything about it.
This is gonna be
That
interesting.
new.
This is gonna be
Damn.
interesting. And as you said, like outside of BLT, Irene has been doing good. I'll take your word for it, Pap. But in here in
Yeah.
this BLT, in our headspace here of BLT, Irene's actually kind of middling.
Are they?
Not
I feel
really
like they're pretty good.
showing the best
What's the
performances
record?
Let the record show that they are
2-0.
1-0.
1-0. See, their one game hasn't been that impressive. I'll say that.
1-0.
Well, I mean, they're undefeated, which is better
Against
than you could say about a lot of
Remember
people.
that game, PokeArt?
Aren't they? Let's see, 1, 2. Aren't they 2-0?
What was
Cheats
the other one?
says 1-0.
Wait, it was the other
And
one.
that's wrong because
Sublime
Irene
and who?
subbed in for Team Charm during week 2
Oh, okay. I mean, if
and
you're subbing
defeated
in,
Hachibaki.
no, that's the one they have.
I want to forget about that game.
That's the one they have against.
Then they played Sublime in week 3 and won.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the game.
well,
I
it
remember.
wasn't in NU.
Oh, you
So I
mean
don't see
NU?
it.
Oh, yeah. Specifically NU, only one game, yeah.
This
I mean-
one, it's gonna be tough because this is a new tier, as you said. Both players haven't really seen all that much. I want to say floor, only slightly though. But not to say that Irene is bad, but like I think the middling performances have got to stop here. I think floor. I just have a gut feeling that floor is gonna win. This is purely on instinct. All right, next up, SVPU. We got Ryuji versus Dugza.
So I haven't played either of these two guys yet, but Ryuji seems like he's been like actually playing PU a lot. Like he's been like building and like probably testing a lot because his teams are kind of weird. So I would test him if I were him. But he definitely kind of found like his style. I think Dugza kind of feels like he's kind of not found his stride into tier as much. I think Dugza's a better player, but I think Ryuji like has his footing in the tier like a bit more. But I feel like either player could win because Dugza definitely still is like a better player.
Oh, so
He
you're
just-
going with Dougie, Pap?
Like,
I'm actually gonna go with Ryuji here. I'll go with the mainer theory that people who put more effort in a tier like will win.
to my knowledge, Ryuji was actually new to the tier coming into the tour, but
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
he's
coming into the tour.
clearly learned it quite well, and he's been playing pretty solidly. And while Dugza is probably a more renowned player, he hasn't been playing SV too well.
Yeah, he hasn't really like. Who did he lose to? I was like, oh, I'm surprised.
Was it yes or no? My dude he lost to, or no? Was that his one win?
Won against the.
I feel like that was his one win.
Yeah.
So Dugza, okay, he lost against Tenebricite and Los Conoscuto, but he did defeat Yes or No, my dude.
Yeah,
So-
right.
Well, you've just been killing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Both guys been doing really good in
that bad
this.
losses. Yeah.
So both players are renowned good. Ryuji definitely has found his footing in PU and is shaping up to be one
Just
of the
looking at the teams.
one of the best players in this pool. While Dugza, has been underwhelming this BLT. He hasn't really found the niche to really amp it up. His one win against Yoshino, my dude, was impressive, but his losses against Tenebricite and Los Shoto really hurt him. So yeah, I think this is a Ryuji win as well. Unfortunately, I want to see Dugsa do good, but he hasn't really shown impressive performances yet, aside from that one win. So hopefully we get to see a lot better performances in this post home meta. I hope he finds his footing here. But I think Ryuji's gonna win.
Yeah, Ryuji likes to cook, and I think he'll continue to cook.
Cooking is good. SVLC Kebab versus LokiFan.
So the general LC agreement is that people who don't main LCE are really horrible at transitioning to it. Kebab is really good at Gen 4 LC actually, but this one is, if you've never played SVLC, it's like an experience. It like changes your mind.
That's the nicest way you could put it, Cap. An experience.
It's and I think LokiFan just when you've played Lil Cup LC as VLC, I mean, like your brain is just wired different. You're just like, you can endure pain more. I feel like Loki's just gonna win off of knowing the meta more, but like if there's ever a meta where you could know the tier more and just lose a speed tie and lose, it's this one. But I'll go with LokiFan. He's actually been pretty good this tournament as well, and I'm really happy for him. Because he's my friend as well. So I'll go with Loki.
All right. I'm not super impressed by them, but he's been winning.
Well, he's 3-1. So.
Oh yeah. Yet I wasn't impressed with the games.
He actually has the best record of any LC players.
Really?
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
All right. Well, me, yeah, I think.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
He has a similar record to Drifting, who's 2-0, and he's 3-1, but he has the most wins out of anyone in LC.
I feel like his wins, they're good that he's winning a lot against what? Against Gorex, against who else?
If you're trying to say that his wins don't look like convincing, that's just a meta. Like,
I know,
that has nothing to do with his skills.
I know, but actually playing through the meta, I wasn't just convinced by LokiFan's wins, and I never really, he's not on the level of, say, a Taz from last year or someone from that caliber. But it's good that he is the highest earning player in this pool. It's just that, his plays can tend to be a little bit more stale than a lot of SVLC players in this pool. So this one's gonna be an interesting matchup. I think I'm gonna go with the upset here and go Kebab.
Nah.
That's the upset? Wow. I was told Kebab plays the tier.
He actually plays the tier? Actually does it well though.
Although according to Pap, it's Gen 4 LC, so now I'm not sure.
Gen 9 woman. But I'm still going with the upset.
So
maybe it's just another case of Roxy and Shape picking a player who's solid in a tier but in a past gen.
I mean, let's be honest here. There's really no reason for Kebab to be playing SVLC, like unless he ladders. I doubt he does.
I mean, I don't know.
Hopefully he fights, because LokiFan's decent but not as good.
We got decent LC support though, so
decent, yeah.
Well, good for you.
The drifting support is gonna help LokiFan in the end.
Drifting.
The what?
Oh, drifting. Sorry. I'm thinking of another guy.
Wait, I'm so confused.
Okay. Next up, SVDOU, Zern versus the Cheesin' One.
Gulp.
I'm not predicting this. You guys can go ahead. I know nothing about.
You just predict it on paper.
Flip a coin. I'll go with, I want Atago to sit on me because their name is kind of funny.
You are very brave saying that name out loud, Pap.
Yes,
No
you
worries. I can
are.
say it again if you want.
All
But
right. So yeah, Cheese did impress me last week, but his playing performances have been, as you can say, very underwhelming. Meanwhile, Zern's been killing it. Zern has absolutely been killing it in SVDOU in particular, having some great games, and a particular good one against SMB. Um, yeah, this should be a Zern. This should be a Zern win. As much as I want to root for Cheese, Zern still wins.
Yeah, this is definitely a match I don't consider to be in our favor. The problem with Cheese is that I think his prep is good. In fact, maybe it's a little too good. He can't decide what to use half the time. But yeah, it's more of a in-game thing. Sometimes he just kind of freaks it up at the end,
Maybe.
and he's aware of that.
Okay. Well, I hope the post-home meta changes that. SV
Yeah, I hope
Monotype.
so too. Cheese is already getting accustomed to it.
Oh, that's very nice. SV Monotype, ASIC versus JoJo. This already happened, and ASIC won.
I think we all would have said ASIC anyways, right?
would I? That's a good question.
Be honest.
I think he's just a better player.
Me too.
Good.
Despite both actually very good players, I think ASIC still would have won.
Yeah, ASIC's just too good. JoJo knew he would get bodied. Literally said it.
Bodied. All right. Next up, Anastar Articunos versus the Primal Power Pangoros. Oh boy, some
Yeah, that's us.
some particular matchups, Pap, that I cannot wait. First of all, we already got SVOU crying versus Herv. Herv won. Upset.
Take the
Yeah,
L,
did you
Micoy. Take the L.
I will take the
did
L
you
because I was gonna go crying on this one, but
I was going Erwald because I think he's the goat.
I will watch that game.
Wait, you were going not? Oh, right. You're on the team. Of course you
I
were
am on the
going
team.
Herb.
Of course, PokeArt. Who would you have said?
I would have said crying as well, but
So we
what can I
both-
say? Herb cooked.
So we both take the L.
Dang, Pep got the W.
Yeah.
All right. SVOU, we got Avarice versus Fat Batman. Pap, tell me about Fat Batman's prep.
I'm not telling you anything about his prep. What I will say though
Might be leaking.
is this I thought Fat Batman was just a meme pick, but it turns out he's actually like a really good ladder player. I think Baylor told me like, oh no, Fat Batman is actually like a 1900 to 2000 elo player, and I was like, oh,
Are you serious?
Oh.
yeah.
Oh no,
Apparently
you.
so.
That's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's actually really good. So I was like, oh, nice. But from what I've seen, he's definitely really knowledgeable about the meta, even if it just changed.
Really?
So if there's anyone I'd expect to be accustomed to this new meta, it would definitely be a ladder player, and it would definitely be Fat Batman. So I'm going Fat Batman here.
All right.
You make a compelling case, I won't lie.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Being one of the top ladder players in this current OU ladder, very impressive for Fat Batman. Still gonna go.
Well,
Avarice.
that's what I've been said. I didn't actually confirm it. It might be full of shit, but I think he's pretty good.
Your argument just became less
It's
good.
sus. It's sussy.
No.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go Avarice. I think Avarice is still the better.
I am also going Avarice. He's Avarice, and he's kind of killing it this gen.
Well, in UU, but in OU, like it's another completely different beast. So I think Avarice.
Yeah, it is a completely different care. You are right.
I can't wait to see this game.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll end up something good. Maybe we'll just see.
I honestly don't predict this being a great game. Something about it smells.
You're gonna think it's gonna be 1 star.
Yeah. I don't think she's wrong, but I still think Fat Batman is gonna win. It's kind of popping off.
next up, SV Ubers. We got Aberforth versus Richard Billy Plain. Kind of a highlight.
Yeah,
I just hope Aberforth doesn't get cheesed.
Same.
Yeah. No comment on that. But
Oh.
I'm going with Richard here all the way. I think it's fire.
All right, PokeArt, what do you think?
I think Aberforth, because he's Aberforth and he's a goat.
Boy, this is
not much else to say.
Boy, this is a hard one to predict for me because Richard has been impressive in pre-home Ubers.
He's impressive in post-home Ubers as well.
He has.
Yeah. No, he's good. Is what I'm saying.
So he's going good.
Just trust me on this.
Okay. Aberforth, though, tried and true Ubers man, definitely a hard one for Richard to go for. After getting FC last week, and this one is definitely not an improvement over that. Yeah, I think Aberforth's gonna have a good win. I hope Richard impresses, but I think Aberforth's gonna win.
Yeah. Nah.
Me too.
SVUU Terracotta versus Madaya.
So this is Terracotta's first game, and I think he's gonna be a little nervous, whereas Madaya's been playing really hot. So I'm gonna go with Madaya.
PokeArt?
You're gonna go with literally all your teammates.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when you're the top team in the tournament, that's a safe bet.
There it is.
Ah, shoot, he's right.
He is. It's true. So
you gotta have confidence in your teammate.
I think Madaya as well.
Madaya's been impressive. I will give you that. Terracotta, first game. Hopefully, we'll get to see what happens here. But the safe pick, I think Madaya as well. I think Madaya has been. I think the week 2 or 3, the week 1 or 2 impressions have slowly waned, and I think Madaya is good now. So
yeah.
All right, SVRU Shiloh versus Just Franco. Why would they put Shiloh?
Franco's undefeated, and hasn't really had like a close game. It just kind of was destructions every week. So I'm feeling pretty safe about this one.
Okay.
Well, I think Shiloh could definitely put up a good fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think he's a good player.
Franco.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Franco. He hasn't lost.
When are we getting Arsenine versus Just Franco?
He escaped Arsenine week 1. He got lucky.
He dodged. Yeah. No, he got skilled.
Arsenine. Oh, this is gonna be a tough one. Actually, wait. This is gonna be this is Shiloh, not Arsenine. What am I thinking? Yeah, Franco wins.
Yeah, silly Micoy.
Yeah, this is Franco.
He got lucky and dodged Arsenine.
Can't wait to see them in semis. I hope.
Maybe.
Next up, SVNU. We got Hachimaki versus Nhelio.
I think Nhelio is really good. Just prepping with them and testing. And I don't want to say I'm getting owned in testing usually, but I'm getting owned in testing usually. And I feel like this is going to be no different. I think he's going to win.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I also think he's going to win.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy Nhelio win. Hachimaki, I've never been...
Oh, wait, we're talking about NU? Oh, I thought we were talking about P for a minute. Oh, okay.
Nhelio and NU.
Hachimaki versus Nhelio. Oh, this actually seems pretty... This seems kind of close.
What? Really? What do you think? Well, what do you think then?
I think you guys are underestimating. Sure, the game version he played was a little atrocious, but it made sense once you know what set he unfortunately had.
Okay,
or at least I think
Nhelio is undefeated, and the GOAT.
Wait. Helio's undefeated?
Yeah.
Is?
He's 4-0?
3-0. He subbed out 1 week.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so alrighty.
He would have won.
Alrighty. I'll go in Helio then.
Yeah, this is easy. Like a Hachimaki, I've never been really impressed by, and that week 2 bombshell of a game didn't really help matters. So Helio though, very impressive. I will go with Helio. Yeah, pretty easy fight. SVPU.
So next up is me.
Los Kono Shoto versus Wesh Papillon. Go ahead.
I'll go first on this one. So when you look at the strength of schedules, I feel like even though my record is worse, when you look at my schedule, right? I had Danny, which is an SCL player for sure. I had Telenet, which is one of the top players in the pool, and I had Tenebresit, which is also one of the top players in the pool. And I still like did pretty well. Losco has a better schedule, but he also didn't play any of the big
Not yet.
of the big 3 that I had to play.
Not yet.
So I also think as a competitor, I always have to keep like the mindset that I'm gonna win. I don't want to go into a game thinking like, oh man, like this guy's like way better than I am. So I'm gonna vote for myself here, but it's not because I think I'm gonna necessarily like that I'm so much better than him. It's just as a show of like confidence in my abilities, I have to vote for myself. Otherwise, there's no point in trying.
All right.
If that makes sense.
When are you gonna play though?
Sorry.
Well, did you schedule already? When are you gonna play?
Friday.
Friday. All right. Interesting. I'll definitely tune in to watch that.
Cool.
PokeArt, who do you think?
I think Losco's gonna win.
No. Yeah. Sorry, Pat, but Losco's been killing it in PU just as much as Telenet and Tenebrasite has. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. This is gonna be even as both players, comparatively speaking, both players have been even. So, but I think Losco has had the better performances so far.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, who has Losco even lost to so far?
Ryuji.
He lost to Ryuji.
Is that it?
You should know this.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I knew that, Micoy. I just didn't know if that was it or not.
He has wins on Yes or No, My Dude. Dugsa lost to Ryuji and won against I think that is Lechin.
Lechin, yeah. Interesting fight. I can't wait to. I hope I catch this live. SVLC Gorex versus Drifting.
I'm just happy no one has to schedule with Drifting with like an East time zone or like a West time zone, and they're both like in the crappy shitty time zone no one wants to play. But I think Drifting is winning. I think they're both like +9 or like +12.
Close.
Oh, gross.
It's the Ziri.
Yeah.
It's the Ziri time zone.
Yeah.
All right, so
The Korean time zone.
It's close to mine. Bulgaria, who do you think?
This is a little tough. I think I'm leaning Drifting.
I think I'm gonna pick Gorex on this one. Gorex really showed a good performance last week and has been playing okay. Drifting's also been playing okay, but this one's definitely a coin flip. I think I'm leaning Gorex.
So counterpoint, Drifting undefeated.
Right.
Enough said. He beat Hacker.
But Gorex, better, evenly matched players, and again, betting man instincts going at it. Gorex.
No. Enough said.
SVDOU. Oh, Pap, you're gonna have Raph face against Fayette.
Oh dear.
I'm going with Raph. Easy money. I've seen this guy prep, and he's the GOAT. Nothing more to say here.
I think Faye's just the better player, so I think Faye's gonna win.
Okay. Raph's prep last week is good. I will not deny that. Raph's prep at last week is good. But is it enough to hold
Yeah.
up against Fayette? Oh boy.
I think it is.
Tough.
It's a tough matchup, this one. Fayette, absolutely
Yeah.
goated. This is a Fay win.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is just very tough matchup for Raph. Although I expect it to be a good game.
Me too. I can't wait. SV Monotype, we already saw Maroon getting conked by Royal Reloaded.
Yeah, I would have gotten this one wrong. I'll admit it.
I would have gotten this one wrong too. I think Micoy would have as well.
I would have gone for Royal Reloaded, actually.
No, you wouldn't, you liar.
No,
You liar. You told me you told me that you would go for Maroon normally if you didn't know the matchup. So
I was going
that's
with Maroon for the most part of this game. I was going Maroon. However, when I saw the type, when I saw the game, this was a Royal win.
Yeah. Okay.
that doesn't count.
I will change.
These are on paper predicts.
Okay, if you
You're
want,
not supposed to have prior knowledge of that sort of stuff.
He is right that winning the matchup fish tier, the better matchup does tend to win. That is true.
That is my point.
No, I'm saying that you're just supposed to look at this matchup on paper and decide who wins. And Micoy thought Maroon would win on paper, so that means his predict is for Maroon.
I still went Royal in the last second. All right, fine. If I want to take the L, I'll be humble. I'll take the L on this one.
Yeah, you better take the L. You're not supposed to predict with knowledge of the match.
This is my title. I'm definitely the heel. All right. So
it's one thing if you have knowledge of prep, not the match itself.
Ugh. The game was played first. Okay, that's my excuse.
That is no excuse. We're pretending it didn't happen.
All right, last matchup. We got the Phantom Trout versus the Shunny Shore Snorlaxes. First up, SVOU, we got Ender versus Star.
Ender kind of clobbered Shiloh last week, to my surprise.
Very clobbered Shiloh.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a matchup thing. I'm not super knowledgeable about OU, but it looked like a tough matchup, at least. But really I'll go with Star.
I don't know what Shiloh was bringing. I don't know why Shiloh brought Mouse Hold.
Yeah, I mean,
Mouse gaming works sometimes, really, but it's a little hit or miss.
I don't really know, OU. It might be a viable pick into some matchups, but I don't know. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Maybe it's good.
No, I'm agreeing with you. It is viable in just some matchups.
Some matchups, not all. So
not this one.
What do you guys think?
I'll go with Star.
Okay. We're all going.
Sorry, Ender.
Yeah, this is.
Ender brought a unorthodox team last week, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything was going to be kind of weird this week.
Yeah, but it's definitely an interesting one. But yeah, I think Star's the better player. Star's been showing the more impressive performances. This is Star's game. SVOU, we got Lax versus Zoroark. This one, I'm definitely excited for this one. This is a matchup that is big for me.
This is Zoroark's first game?
Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to this one as well. I'll predict Lax, but I don't have any great insight on this game, to be honest.
Just go Lax. He's probably better here.
All right, I'm gonna be the betting man, and I'm gonna say Zoroark. Even though Lax, I fully know is the better player, I am just in my gut instinct. I think Zoroark will win.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
SV Ubers, we got Mashing versus Genius from Hoenn.
I'm gonna say about 5 words here, but Genius from Hoenn, cheese meta, match made in heaven. And enough said.
That's 9 words.
Damn. Well, I was close.
All right. So
Close enough.
who do you guys think?
I think Mashin, better player, beat it up before.
Pap?
I think in this cheese meta, this is a genius from Hoenn type meta. You're not catching him off guard with any of your. He's going to be the one bringing the cheese and winning because it's broken as shit.
Well, what if they both just bring cheese and
That's possible.
Mashin out cheeses him?
It's possible.
It's not possible to out cheese genius from Hoenn.
Ooh.
He just knows.
As you learned from the El Cap School of Cheese.
Far better.
No, I don't think Elcat plays Ubers much.
Well, comment on that probably. Yeah, I think I'm going mashing as well. I think mashing has definitely proven itself to be. I think mashing here in Ubers is very fitting for him. After underperforming in OU, this one is definitely more his tier. All right.
Okay. So UU is interesting, but I think Rash, I didn't know them at all before the tournament, but they've looked pretty good, so I'll vote for them.
Okay, what do you think of Rashe versus Slip?
Hello?
So, who do you think?
What match are we talking about? Oh, it's Rashe versus Slip.
What do you think?
That's a You know, I've been impressed with Rashe lately. I'll go Rashe.
Me too. I mean, okay. Slip has had like an up and down sort of BLT performance. Meanwhile, Rashe
Mostly downs.
It's been mostly down.
Yeah, what's Slip's record?
Built good teams. Don't
Yeah.
discredit Slip. Like he has built
But
good teams.
they haven't won.
They haven't won, which is a shame.
Slip's winless. Oh.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
They haven't won a game, which is a shame because he builds good teams. And Rashe has been doing okay, has been bringing okay teams and winning. So yeah, I think Rashe to win.
Yeah, I've actually been impressed with how Rashe is playing.
I want Slip to actually win something. Like actually win something for once.
Yeah. I'll still go with Rash. Just odds.
I think you should say Rashe because a rash is something else, and it's not pleasant.
Well, I think that's how it's pronounced. Like that's the. There's no accents on the E.
All right.
Then at least say Rosh and not Rash.
No, I mean I read it how it's spelled. Rash. If they want to have their name different, they should just have a different name. But I'm pronouncing.
Not everyone is American or Canadian and says that hard A.
All right.
I mean, I can pronounce it like I would if it were French. Roche. Does that help?
Whoa. That's actually pretty fancy.
That's a deep cut right there. SVRU. Whoa. We got Danny versus Elfuzon.
Honestly, I love Elfu. I'm surprised he's still playing.
Me too.
He hasn't really been feeling the game. But when I wrote my predicts, I voted for Danny because I think he's gonna win. But I'll vote for Elfu on camera because he's my friend.
Right.
Wait, so what exactly am I going to mark you down as predicting then?
Just mark me as Elfusion.
Okay.
Well then.
Okay.
Then what? So what happens if Danny wins? Do you get it right or do you get it wrong?
I get it wrong.
All right.
All right. So you're fully committing. Okay.
Committing. All right. Good. I think Danny.
He's being a betting man.
Yeah, I think Danny.
No, I'm being a friend.
You're betraying
a betting friend.
You're betraying the Danny for Elfu. Okay. Danny, yeah, I think Danny's definitely the lower tiers main here. Elfusion, I'm surprised. I'm just as surprised as you that he's still playing. Because he
Yeah.
hasn't been really showing the best performances. Danny, though, has been pretty much doing the Danny way, just playing comfortably in the lower tiers. So I think Danny wins here.
I also think Danny wins here. Just better at lower tiers in general. Really good player in them.
I don't know. Elfusion's also pretty good at low tiers, but
if he tries,
we'll see.
if he tries,
We'll see how good he
he's just
is.
not in the mood right now.
If
He's
he
just not in a
actually
good
tries, it's
way.
good. All right.
Yeah.
SVNU Latias versus Zeri.
I don't know who Latias is, so I'll vote with for
That's
Zeri.
Hail Dialga.
It's the old.
That doesn't help me.
It's an old Plaza
does the
name.
name Hail sound familiar with 2 A's?
No.
Old Plaza main.
Damn, I don't know how to help you then.
That's all we need to
just
Old Plaza main. Old OM's mains as well.
good for him. I'm still voting for Zeri.
This is a
100%. I think he was a TPP manager.
Got to semis.
That's great. I'm still voting for Zeri.
You don't know who he is. Okay.
Yeah, this
Nope,
is
no clue.
100%. This is 100% curb stomp to Zeri. Unfortunately, Latias. Good.
I mean, yes, it is.
Latias though, they do have some success in NU, particularly in the NU Swiss, as we mentioned, but Zeri 100% better player, so then that's to be expected.
Better player, better in the tier. There's no contest here.
SVPU. We got Axertix versus Yes or No, my dude.
Interesting.
Axertix has been playing mostly NU or exclusively NU, but I think from what I've seen, he was pretty good at PU as well. He's probably. I think I'm gonna vote for Axertix. Don't have much to say about this match, but I'll go for Axertix.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go for Axertix.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the guy play PU, but if he's supposedly good at it while being pretty good in NU, I totally believe that.
Yes or No, my dude has been competent in the PU in PU specifically so far, but it's just not enough. Like you need to have that killer instinct in order to win games. And Yes or No, my dude hasn't been really showing that. He hasn't been really showing that oomph factor, that killer instinct. So Axertix, meanwhile, has had a pretty good success rate in NU, and I think PU is going to be a good transitions here for him. So yeah, this is a Axertix for me.
Yep, Axertix.
SVLC Ace Hunter 1 versus Vinny the Winnie again.
Yeah, I'll go for Ace Hunter here because he's my IRL friend. So go Ace Hunter.
Okay.
Aw, IRLs. I wish I had an IRL friend who played mods.
Well,
I don't.
You do.
That sucks.
Anyway.
For you.
Anyway, PokeArt, who do you think?
Ace Hunter. Although I'm very curious to see what Vinny the Winnie does because people are sort of hyping him up a little.
He's probably going to bring Growlithe.
Well, who isn't?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're curious to see what he's going to do.
I honestly don't know why Trace keeps slotting in Vinny the Winnie for these tours. Like, it's never gonna work.
Hey, Micoy, I hear this is his main. I don't know if that really makes a difference against Ace Hunter, but
Hacker said he was pretty good. Yeah, I've seen Ace Hunter lose to worse players. Honestly. But I think he's still gonna win.
100% an Ace Hunter win. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Okay, but it's
I'll go. Yeah, he has a point, Micoy. You like Pap said this before in chat. Like we shouldn't take these LC
Loka
predictions too
retrograde.
seriously.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yes, this is my 100 series. Fine, we'll go and Vinny the win. I'm kidding. No, Ace Hunter. Yeah.
I'm
SVDOU.
sorry, but Vinny ain't winning.
Vinny the
Damn.
Weenie. SVDOU. This is a matchup we're particularly hyped up. Last week we thought it was gonna happen anyway, but I'm happy it just exists. Akuru Kokio versus SMB.
I think you
I'll
meant
vote
to say
for.
Akuru Kokio versus his Kawaii Neko.
Ooh, oh, Sugui.
Why am I here?
Stop.
Justice Center. I'll go for SMB because I know them better. I just heard her name more. I don't, like I said, I don't really pay attention to the DOU or Mono for people who
It's
just tune
okay.
into one of their
Predicting
teams.
in favor in SMB is almost always the right choice.
Almost always is the
Almost always.
is the term there. PokeArt, what do you think?
I also think SMB.
Oh man,
I think the
Hmm?
I think the Kawaii Neko is gonna win here.
I also think I also think the Sugoi
Stop.
What are you guys
Sugoi
saying?
man.
Anyways,
Please,
Sugoi
no,
my
Miko.
what do
baka.
you guys think about this monotype matchup? I'll just
Sugoi my
say
baka wins against Akar Kokio.
No,
Alright, that's my
Miko, I'm
prediction.
just referencing the description. You're the one making it bad.
I know, and I'm
yeah.
fully committing to the bit. SV Monotype, the last matchup. We got Dunox versus Felines.
I
Speaking
will
of
not say anything
Nekos,
about this. I will just say felines and leave it to that.
PokeArt, what do you think?
let's see. Yeah, felines. Unfortunately, Dunox has been sucking.
Dunox has been unfortunately sucking. Like, we never thought that Dunox was. After having such a strong high last year with the Swamperts, unfortunately going to this. It's the stark contrast. Felines, though, has been.
Counterpoint, he's playing monotype, so I'm not really that surprised. It's not like
Actually, he only started playing mono like last week.
Well, yeah, no, he played 2 weeks of monotypes and 2 weeks of RU, none of which are his main. So he's kind of.
I don't know. Does he even main you this gen? I'm inclined to say not.
He definitely does.
To
From
be
Really?
fair to Dunox,
pretty sure.
he has been having the monotype records. Like I mentioned before, he's got that monotype, monotype success in the past. I think in the mono winner seasonal, I think he's done super well. But
Yeah, well, fake tears.
But none of that. This is still monotype. Unfortunately, Dunox hasn't been showing that impressive performance that he had before BLT started. So felines all the way. I won't be surprised if Dunox wins because it's monotype after all. But just give me something, Dunox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I think transitioning from the Kawaii Neko to just a simple Neko, because that means cat. I think felines wins.
The Neko friends win.
Great pun. All right. Well, that's it.
And that's the end of the Neko. And that's the end of the Neko sets in BLT. I hope you guys kawaii'd your way into another 3 hours of recording. All right, thank you, Pat, for joining us as usual.
No problem.
Tune in next week.
Yeah. Also, wait. Pap, can I ask? You safe up in Canada right now? Apparently, there's like hundreds of fires or something there.
Yeah,
right now?
where I live, it's just bad air quality.
Yeah, it's so bad that it's affecting my air quality. I have to stay inside right now.
No, I'm
so
fine.
stay safe.
Stay safe out there, boys. The fires in Canada are bad. Anyway, thank you, Pap, for joining us on this predictions, and thank you, viewers, for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Click that notification bell so you don't miss a video once they come out. Tune in next week for Week 5 recap, Week 6 predictions. Again, this has been Micoy. signing out.
Farewell.